Hello, everyone. I am Gary Gonzo, and welcome to P1's coverage of Round 1 of officially Season 12, the transition season of the longest continuously running Dallara IRO5 IndyCar League on iRacing. It's the Sim Gaming Expo Classic IndyCar Series, which we come to you today from Legacy, Michigan International Speedway for the BJ's Manufacturing Indy 400. Joining me as always in the booth for all this season, as he did for the winter season when we worked together, is my normal Sunday kind of legacy IndyCar partner. It's the Catalyst, Andrew Wood. Andrew, welcome. We are under the pace lap, getting ready to go green next time by. Good to have you here. We will get into the starting lineup momentarily, but welcome to Michigan.
Yeah, Gary, great to be with you, and it feels definitely weird. I've raced in this league many years, and now I get to watch these guys duke it out at a big, huge oval Michigan Speedway, and I'm looking forward to seeing how people want to set up their seasons going forward.
And there you see rows 1 through 5. Hutton on the pole to 2:15.2. There you see rows 6 through 10. And there you see up to row 13. I think Robert's in the lineup, but we're getting ready to go green this time for Season 12. Officially Season 12.
We're off to a nice clean start.
Yeah, a very clean start considering where we saw a lot of the typical low torque wheel spin of these cars under practice. But down the back straightaway, 200 laps, 400 miles today for the BJ Manufacturing Michigan 400 to open Season 12 of the Classic IndyCar Series. And we're going single file into turn 3. You saw the conditions on your screen. Not bad conditions out there. Should be a very entertaining race, as really the top 5, top 6 is starting to pull away at the completion of lap 1.
We get through lap 1 cleanly, Gary. We're underway here to start Season 12 of the Classic IndyCar Series, and it gets very hectic as you look towards the back of the field there, but no contact, no issues really to speak of at this time. The pole sitter, Jared Hutton, a new name that we haven't seen here yet in the Classic IndyCar Series, already making a name for himself. And let's see if that's just a fluke or if he's able to really kind of get things going here and mix it up with the usual names that we see here at the front of this field.
Jared Ray Hutton. PJO purple lap. Julian Altena purple lap. He resets at 2:15.3. 2:15.3 here at the 2-mile oval in the Irish Hills in Michigan. We are Legacy Michigan, the bumpier version. Probably closer to the real version that these cars drove on for many years when this series used to come here. And IndyCar has raced at Michigan combined 56 times between 1968 and 2007, so 2007 would be the midpoint for these cars being used. They were used primarily between in 2005. That's kind of why called the IRO5, and used all the way up to 2011 with different aero kits before the introduction of the DW12, which is still the base tub used today. Oh, Jared, and that's Johnny Garrett and Jared Hutton side by side. Got tight there. 12 drivers have scored their first win and sometimes their only IndyCar win here at Michigan. Ronnie Bucknam, Bill Vukovich, Tom Sneva, Danny Angayas, Pancho Carter, John Paul Jr., Emerson Fittipaldi, Scott Goodyear, and Scott Pruitt, Tony Kanaan, Patrick Carpentier, and Thomas Scheckter all got their very first IndyCar wins here.
We're looking at Jared Ray Hutton still here holding the lead, or he gave it up to Johnny Garrett briefly. Johnny Garrett, I believe, has switched to the Vortex team. Going along with Robert Grosser and Lucas LaVille and that camp there. So a new team for Johnny Garrett this season, and Johnny's always been that kind of independent driver who really wants to make his name known as someone who can just put a setup together, come to the track, and really show what he has going. And this season now he has some more knowledge and more ability to work with other drivers. So I think this could really be a great season for Johnny Garrett, should he be able to really show off what he can do, and I think he can find a nice home at Vortex Racing.
Riding with Julian Altena up 5 spots, one of your biggest gainers at the start of this race, right next to Matt the Hammer Molnar. Matt is up in the 4th position, up 6 spots. Logan Simmons who almost won that Indy 500 to close out season 11. He is up one spot, now up to the lead, up 5 spots, and now runs the point as one of the more successful drivers on the ovals last season. Not in the lineup is Thomas Mustana. Well, yes, he is. There he is, back in the number 1, back in number 7th position. Sorry, I was looking for TH, not TU. Tomas. He is in the lineup, our defending series champion. Here he is in the iconic motorsports entry. He's right behind Julian and undercuts Jared Ray. And Jared going to get the run down the backstretch. Going to help him hold on to that position. But Jared started for the pole and now falling back to P6.
We're watching these iconic racing drivers. They were kind of the cream of the crop last season. They won the team championship last season, and I'm sure they want to come out swinging this season. And Logan Simmons currently holding lead right now. You see a lot of jockeying for position right now, Gary, and a lot of these drivers are trying to figure out where exactly they want to put themselves to perhaps save a little bit of fuel, which is very difficult in these cars, by the way. Having driven this and in the last season and previous seasons before, you really have to keep your foot flat to the floor. Got a little bit of a contact there. I believe Johnny Garrett might have touched the wall entering turn 3, which kind of checked up that group a little bit there. But yeah, these drivers are really just trying to get in a single file line, and the more single file cars you have in this line, the faster you're going to go. So the best thing you want to do is get in that single file formation, not really race side by side too much, because you're going to be able to get a lot more forward speed.
Car off a 2 up into the wall, and that was Aiken. Not Aiken. Was that Barnacow? Barnacow on the high side got up in the wall, washed up aero wash.
See that these drivers have sort of broken away from the mid-pack there. About, what is that, the top 8 or so have moved into a very, very close formation here, and Aiken is leading that second pack there. So if everyone gets in a single file line, I think they can catch back up to this group again, but you really have to be able to work with everybody that's around you, because if you don't and you race side by side too much, you're just going to slow the both of you down. So Aiken is leading the second pack right now, falling back a little bit from that front pack, and you got to catch that draft, which is a little bit more extended than we typically see in the other IndyCar car development phases and everything. So let's see if Aiken can bring this back up forward.
The kart track record, the overall IndyCar track record set here back in 2000. Paul Tracy, 234.9. We're not even close to that. In fact, we never really even got close to the IRL track record, which was Thomas Schechter in 2003 of a speed of 222. The all-time race winners here, Johnny Rutherford with 4, including one 500-miler. Gordon Johncock with 4 with a one 500-miler. Bobby Unser with 3. He had 1 in USAC, 2 in kart. Mario Andretti had 3, 1 in one 500-miler in 84. One of his few 500-mile runs. Rick Mears did very well here. He had 3 wins, 1 500-miler in 91 to back up his Indy 500 win. And Bobby Rahal had 3 wins here. Michael Andretti, 2 500-mile wins here. Scott Goodyear has 2 500-mile wins here. Remember, he won in 92 and 94. 92 backing up that very close effort at the Indy 500. Today's rule set, open setup. These teams get to work on them, get to massage them, make them faster. This is a 2-mile D-shaped super speedway oval. 200 laps, 400 miles, 7 sets of tires, 1 in the car, 6 in the pits. 100% fuel, 1 fast, says 1 fast repair. I do not think we have a fast repair. Double check that for me. Pit road speed limit is 55. This is the 4th time the Classic IndyCar Series has visited Michigan International Speedway. We visited back in 2016, 2021, and 2024 as the 3 previous visits.
Yes, I can confirm for you, Gary, there is no fast repair.
That's what I thought.
In this league here, that was kind of something that the Classic IndyCar Series had tried at one point, but realized that it caused a little too many cautions that these drivers probably wanted to deal with. So You get a one shot at it, and if you wreck the car, that's the end of the day for you.
Just like real racing for the most part. Hey, if you enjoy P1's coverage of the Sim Gaming Expo Classic IndyCar Series and respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so don't miss out on future P1 iRacing broadcasts. Lap 16 of 200 till the early stages, and Julian Altena up 11 spots as he noses the front of his car out in front of Logan Simmons to pick up the lead. But here comes that high side again off of turn 2 down the backstretch, Andrew. Down to the bottom is not really the preferred place to be. Even with these older IR05 cars, the momentum on the high side, just like the IR18s and even the DW12s, gets you a lot of, basically makes up that edge for you. Normally we expect the low side to be king, but that momentum is everything in IndyCar.
Yeah, down on that low side, you're kind of on that banking transition situation, especially going at the exit of turn 4, going down the front straightaway, and that could upset the car if your car is not set up in such a way that it can handle that. But it looks like Julian Altena actually has a car that is set up to run that very low side. As we saw last time coming past the stripe, he was down on that first lane. I believe this time around he may have said, hey, that's a little too tricky. We're going to say kind of more in the middle of the track.
Caution on the racetrack. And I think it's right around Hans Pitcairn and Ryan Anderson.
Yeah, it's actually just what I was talking about, Gary, there, that I'm sure we'll take a look at it here, but that bottom line where that apron begins to sort of unsettle the car, right? The exit of turn 4. You saw Pitcairn got a little bit loose right on there. No other cars touched him. So it was kind of a Danny Sullivan situation as something that you would probably point out to us.
And we're taking a look at Pitcairn and through 3 and 4. And he is right in front of, gets loose on the exit. And the car behind him, not sure who the car behind him was. Ryan Anderson rolls into the zone and just misses it. That was Jack Turner in the, must not have submitted his paint. We got him kind of in a generic iRacing paint. Kind of reminds me of the old Constructicon Devastator when they all combined. They're in that lime green and purple looking colors. Anyways, Jack Turner, he just missed it, and it happened right in front of him. And we are under caution here at lap 19 of 200. And I would imagine this is far enough into a first opening stint, Andrew, that coming to pit road, you're right on the border. You're about halfway through the opening stint, right? So should you come to pit road now, or should you stay out there and keep the track position, albeit that this is Michigan and sometimes track position doesn't matter? But really, for people that consider try to equate these back to the IR18 Indy cars, the draft envelope on these cars do not extend as far back as the IR18s. The IR18s is about a second and a half. This is more 0.6 to 0.5 of a second, and we see Julian peeling off pit road as one of the few takers. So people staying up front are opting for the track position.
Yeah, I find that kind of surprising, actually, Gary. I would have thought some more drivers would have taken the risk and gone off strategy a little bit, but we did see Julian climb all those positions that we were talking about earlier in the race, that he was able to move up those 12 spots, I believe it was, to the lead.
Oh, so and he missed his marks. He had to back up a little bit.
Yeah, perhaps his tires are a little bit more melted than some of the other cars around him. And of course, you're going to have a lot of the drivers at the back of the field want to come in. They have nothing really to lose here. So I would have thought maybe we would have seen more division of the drivers coming in or staying out at the front. But that just shows, that can give us an early indication of how tires really seem to be wearing at this stage. So later on in the race, that we can make better educated decisions if drivers will want to come in for those tires or not.
Now, most people are used to driving this car under fixed conditions, and of course the roll bars, the weight jacker, the engine mapping is all locked down. Unlike the IR18 in these cars, they are all locked down. You cannot adjust on those during the race. But in an open setup race, you talked about saving fuel in these cars, and you said it's not easy. You do have access to the engine map. Does that make things a little bit easier versus a fixed setup race where it's just really your wit and your right foot?
You know, it'd be easy to say that, but does seem like that the engine mapping in these cars are a little bit farther apart. So if you want to go from a map 1 to a map 2, map 1 being the richest mix, and then click down just one setting, it does extend the gap between you and the car ahead of you. It's very, very difficult. You really need that extra fuel burn to keep you intact with the car that's in front of you. So it could be something to play around with for sure, but I don't know if the risk of saving just that little extra bit of fuel is a matter that these drivers are looking for today. So I imagine that everyone's trying to stay in that draft envelope, as you were mentioning, that very, very small one, and keeping themselves within reach of the driver ahead of them.
Lights out on the pace car, going green next time by. Today's race sponsorship, today's Michigan Indy 400 from Legacy Michigan International Speedway is proudly sponsored by BJ Manufacturing. BJ Manufacturing provides high-quality machining, welding, fabrication work in Riverside, California. To learn more, you need to check out their links in the description. I want to thank them for sponsoring our Season 12 opener here, a 400-miler at Legacy, Michigan, this Sunday afternoon, going green here, coming to lap 22 down the back stretch. Everybody that went to pit road is 16th on back, led by Julian Altena, who gave up all that track position. But really, Julian's only starting 4 positions worse. He's on this restart 4 positions worse than where he started this race and went to the front. So he obviously thinks that he has a setup that with newer tires and with a full tank and now being able to possibly jump these guys if we go on a long green flag run, he now is in a position that he knows that he could go from back there in 16th where he is and take it all the way to the point.
Julian's going to be the most exciting driver to watch on this restart.
Car spinning, and that's what we saw during setup, during the warm-up, and that is VJO. And we are still green. That's Strauss in the grass. And VJO. And we are back under caution. And I was just, one of the things I wanted to get to, but we were just too close to the start, is the restart of these cars. We've seen it so many times before here on P1 in the classic IndyCar Series when we did the winter season. We've seen it over on Green Flag TV during the previous regular season, season 11. Bringing these cars up to speed on very, what we would consider slow-paced pace laps. The low-end torque of these cars, once that turbocharger kicks in at a very low range, it automatically just, you can't help it, the tires spin, and that's just because everyone's so used to restarting in first gear. Here you have to start in first gear, but either, well, you could start in second, I guess. Andrew, you can answer that one. You have to be very careful. You have to kind of tippy-toe in first gear on restarts in these cars. It's not like go to first gear in the DW12 or the IR18 and plant it on the restart. Here you kind of got to feather it and immediately kind of go to second gear to minimize on that wheel spin.
You are very much on top of this, Gary. It's like you've done this before. These cars have a kill switch of sorts at 9,000 RPM. Once the car hits 9,000 and you're full throttle and you switch up a gear, that's an immediate, instant spin up of the rear tires, and that will get drivers very, very easily if they do so. So that's probably what you saw with Strauss there. He kind of mistimed the upshift, and it is such a small gap. And a lot of these drivers change their first gear setup in their car so that it could be a little bit longer. The drawback of that, obviously, is that you may not have the speed catching up to the pack as they pull away. So it's a very, very fine line that these drivers use. If they can watch their RPMs come up to 9,000 and switch up to second gear before it gets there, it's all good, and you'll get the most amount of speed pull from that restart. But if you want to restart in second gear and avoid that wheel spin, everybody ahead of you is going to pull away. So it's more of trying to time the restart in such a way that you can get that second gear going to stay with them, or you risk that wheel spin. So again, if once we get into later races in the season, it's very easy to maintain that kill switch. But these drivers haven't raced these cars now in a few months, so it does take a little bit of getting reused to the car again and everything.
Yeah, last race for a lot of these drivers was back at the Indy 500 in November. at the very end of November. And, yeah, you're right. It has been a little bit. And they were practicing. They had a 10-minute warm-up before going green, and they were practicing restarts then, and they were still having problems then as well. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but, yeah, it has been a while since these guys have been in the virtual cockpit of the IR05s.
I think that another factor there is the more worn your tires are, the scarier it gets on the restart. So we were talking about how it's about halfway through the stint, and some of the drivers elected to stay out. And I think that's even more of an indication that these drivers need to be a little bit more careful. Maybe not go to the 9,000 or the 8,000 RPM, but do it a little bit earlier. Maybe sacrifice a little bit of your forward momentum to make sure that the car is safe. And if you're trying to get every little bit out of these cars, which is what all these drivers are doing, in the first place, it does lead to a little bit of uncertainty of how the car is going to react on the restart. So I'm happy to see that no one got any real damage from that incident. Everyone kind of spun down to the infield. So drivers will be able to get going again quite easily without any attrition. But one other thing I wanted to mention, Gary, is that there is no live admin in this race. So if anybody had gotten a black flag,
well, we got two of them. We have two of them, and
those will not be cleared, and those drivers are going to have to serve those penalties, unfortunately.
And I'm watching Julian Altena. The front of his nose is scuffed up now, so he got into the back of somebody on that restart. We're going to go green this time by, but we've had championship implications already as a result of this incident coming to the green flag with Strauss and VJO. Matt the Hammer Molnar and Thomas Musan, your defending series champion, black flags, and they will have to answer those. They tried coming to pit road for a possible drive-through, but it's not going to clear it. They're going to have to answer that under green flag conditions, and that's going to have huge championship implications for the guy that really dominated the season championship all last season, Thomas Mustanen. I mean, he was really the Alex Palou of the Classic IndyCar Series last season. He put a stomping and hurting on the field so much that he was able to clinch before the end of the season, and he's having troubles today.
No, it's still early in the race, Gary, so I wouldn't write any of these drivers off yet. There could be any sort of indication that more incidents may come later on down the line, and these drivers can come back. I have been in that situation myself, not necessarily with a black flag, but something that happens early on in the race can easily be recovered later on. There's no lucky dogs or anything like that in this race, but if you put yourself on a pit strategy that allows you to get yourself back into a situation where you can contend for the top 10, it's still very, very possible at this point in the race.
Well, at least in this case, Misery does enjoy company because Molnar and Mustana, teammates with the Iconic Motorsports squad, they're going to both come to pit road. They're both going to answer the call, and they're both on the same penalty. So maybe these two could work with one another when they answer the stop and go on pit road right now, because it looks like Molnar's down, stopped, he's down and away, and Mustanen is down and away. So at least they're going to have drafting pals to work with.
It's getting very, very feisty back where Julian Altena is. He was trying to come around Jack Turner on the bottom side, and it looks like Kim Van Gassel was a little bit boxed in there, and he had to cede to Julian. So Julian makes up one more spot, two more spots, and he is on a mission to get right back to where he was at the start of this Michigan race here. And
back there with him is Liam O'Sullivan, one of his teammates in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship. Currently the points leader of the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship, Liam O'Sullivan, who is coming to pit road for some reason.
Was there a black flag for him as well, perhaps?
I do not see one for black flag for him, but he is answering the call as he slides into his box and missed the mark. He's going to have to back up, so not sure what happened, and he's out of the cockpit. So this might be a retirement. Back up front is Logan Simmons, Ethan Hagan, Caleb Weekly, Johnny Garrett, and Caven Lovegren making his first start in the series back in P5. First ever race here was a 500-miler, and Lucas LaVille finished second. Robert Grosser finished third. But the second ever race here was a 400-miler, and that was won by Ethan Hagan back in 2021. So Ethan very used to this distance, and he's up at the front right now, and we saw him up front in a lot of oval races last season, but he's also very accomplished on the roads as well.
Yeah, I believe Ethan is more.
Oh, car spinning through the grass. That is Strauss again, who is doing a lot of landscaping. No caution.
Pretty much a miserable race for Matthias Strauss so far. Someone who I've gone side by side with many times towards the end of the last season. He's a very accomplished oval racer, and he definitely has what it takes to get around these large ovals. But unfortunately, sometimes these things happen where you can't really get it together. And once you're out of rhythm a little bit, it really does hurt you for later on in the race. And sometimes you just have to have a cooler head, right? So that's what this series is all about. This series does have a wide range of ability and everything, and sometimes you just have to really be patient with everything that's going on around you. And sometimes it's very, very easy to get into your own mode. And if you do that so early on in the race, it really could hurt you. And I do believe, and I've seen it happen many times in this series, where you get down a little bit early on in the race and you could come back later on, kind of unexpectedly even if it's 20 laps before the end of the race, you find yourself on the lead lap, restarting in 12th place, and you have an opportunity to really pick up a few more spots. So it's unfortunate for Strauss that he's had such a bad start to the season, but it is a transition season, but long enough where you could get something going later on.
And speaking of the schedule, I just got it, received it from my graphics guy right now. So here it is. Here is the schedule for this season. There you see it. We're at Michigan, and then we go to New Hampshire, Montreal, then Portland, and Vegas, Homestead, Willow Springs. That's very interesting. And Mexico City. So oval, road, oval, road. There is one drop week, but there is an oval and a road course championship. There are no drop weeks involved in that. So one drop week in the overall championship, no drop weeks in the oval and road championship. We'll be following more closely the overall championship, but keeping you abreast of what's going on in the oval and road series as well. But that is your schedule for this season. So we're in a kind of the road. We're in the oval cadence right now. We're going to do oval, then road to start the first half of the season.
We have iconic cars that are 1, 2, 3 right now and starting to pull away from the field a little bit. We have Logan Simmons leading, Ethan Hagen, and Caleb Wheatley there. 3 drivers that have worked together for quite some time now in this series, and they know exactly what they need to do to stay one in line with each other. And I did mention before that the more drivers you get in a straight line, the faster you're going to go as a trio or a 4-pack or a 5-pack kind of thing. So Johnny Garrett's kind of hanging out right now. He's lurking in the background in P4 there, and he's bringing Kevin Lovegren up with him. But I believe that those 3 iconic cars are probably set up for a little bit more of a long run. So if they don't make any ground now to catch those 3 cars, those 3 will start to pull away little by little, lap after lap.
I'll show you the gaps here. So that gap between Weekly and Garrett, and it's right at the farthest back that the draft envelope of these cars extends to. Right about 6/10 to 5/10 of it. Now he's out of it for sure at 7/10. So Johnny Garrett is going to have to now use skill and a little bit of racecraft to reel back in the top 3 and get back into that draft window. He cannot rely on the vacuum, the physics of a vacuum right now to pull him right back into this race. And on top of that, Lovegren isn't really interested in working with him. He wants the race.
Yeah, the side-by-side action is not helping this duo move forward. It could look like a swap draft is happening right now between Lovegren and Garrett, but it does not help the 2 of them move forward at all. You can see that even visually the gap is starting to increase now, and Weekly even is starting to drop back a little bit from where Ethan Hagen is right now. So it's going to be difficult to make that time back unless you get in a single file formation and do almost like a beach ball drafting situation. That's what these cars love, is not a swap draft, but something where you get behind someone and push them almost from behind. That air pocket actually gives them slightly more momentum forward and allows them to close up. And the more drivers that are in that beach ball formation, that's what really moves these cars forward.
I don't know how much you know. You're a Disney film guy, mainly the older Disney films. I'm not a newer Disney film guy. I don't know. Maybe you are. Did you ever see, and being that you are a race fan, though, did you ever see the original Love Bug movie?
I'm afraid not, Gary.
You have not.
Once you say Disney, I'm lost. Unfortunately.
Well, if Craven's car looks familiar, with the 53, with the round number border around it, and the pinstriping, the red, white, and blue pinstriping down the middle, that is definitely very Herbie themed right there. I will give him credit. That is a very old school. I know they did the newer remake of the Love Bug in the early 2000s, and I believe that movie even took place at the former Auto Club Speedway, California Speedway, out there in Fontana. Oh, in the back of the wall, though. There goes Garrett. Whatever his car is named is not going to like that. But, yeah, Kevin Lovegren's car definitely has some Herbie vibes to it. Fortunately, it doesn't race like a VW Bug, though.
No, it does not look like that at all. Actually, it seems like that Lovegren has quite a bit of speed here. As he moved by Garrett, and unfortunately, Garrett got a little bit of that aero wash there that put him into the barrier. I don't think there's any scrapes on Garrett's car. It doesn't look that way, so I think he might be okay, and he got away with that. But yeah, one other thing that we should probably mention is that when you get these scrapes on these little pickups, the rear pickups by the right rear tire, if you touch that wall and you get a little bit of damage there, you do lose a little bit of speed. So that could be really interesting for a restart. A restart, you're obviously close to one another and you can make up some time, but if you're sitting by yourself in this pack, you will lose maybe a half a tenth here, a half a tenth there, and over the course of 160, 170 laps, that really can actually make or break your race. So almost like you want to not have those caution flags because you are so far ahead of everyone that's behind you. But visually, you could see that top three is absolutely gone now. They're doing this beach ball drafting to perfection right now. But I also want to mention, Gary, no one from the front has pitted yet, and we must be getting very, very close to our first pit stop here.
Yeah, the first five have not stopped yet. They are 44, coming to 44 laps of this stint. So we expect to see them come to pit lane. Remember, we did have basically one long caution right around lap 20. Remember, the restart of that kind of had to extend the caution a little bit, so we went immediately right back to caution on the restart. I would expect to see them sometime in the next 6 laps. I would imagine 50 laps is probably the maximum they can go. But keep in mind, the tanks on these cars, people forget, are bigger than the IR18 or the DW12. These are 22-gallon tanks versus the 18-gallon tanks of the DW12 and the IR18.
It does feel like you're out there forever, Gary. I can't attribute that. Like, when I was doing these long Auto Club or Michigan races in Classic IndyCar Series, I was out there, and I'm like, how many more laps do we have left in this tank? And Jamie Wilson, my teammate, would be like, oh, about 25. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, we're just going to be out here. Like, we're just in this pack of 4, like you see with where Rafael Rodriguez and Andrew Aiken and these guys are. You're just sitting there saying, like, just keep going, guys. I know we're going to be here forever. We got to find some way to make some advantage later on in this race as you watch everyone else in the pack drive away from you. And yeah, I definitely can. I can attribute to the fact that these tanks are larger and the race does go on for much, much longer. So we are getting close to lap 50 now, and I believe we're going to see some drivers come in around lap 50 based on how the cautions go. They won't be able to do it on 3 stops, more than likely. Come in on lap 50, and then maybe the next ones will be about 45, 46 or so. I believe I saw some drivers saying after testing. So I would say in the next 5 laps, you're going to see the leaders come in. And after that, actually, Kevin Lovegren is down on the apron right now. I think he's coming in. Yeah,
he is down in pit road. So Herbie is on pit road for a little bit of a drink. Maybe not the Irish coffee that was served to him in the movie. But still up front, the top 4 have not pitted. Garrett is he might want to think about coming to pit road sooner rather than later because he has not a soul around him right now, and no one to help him. And that's the big thing, is that there's no one there to help him. And meanwhile, behind him in that group of four that you were just talking about is Rafi Rodriguez can't get any closer to the rear wing of the rear attenuator of Andrew Aiken. Let's watch, see a camera shot, see if this works out now. We got, this is out the back of Aiken, but Rafi Rodriguez had his nose totally under there like he was doing mid-air refueling at 200 miles per hour on the ground.
Yeah, Rodriguez has the mission. Don't go side by side. Just push that beach ball drafting formation there, and it doesn't seem like, it seems that Aiken's car is getting a little squirrely there. So maybe Rodriguez is probably the better car to follow. But leaders are in, Gary.
Yeah, we seen them getting dropped from the jack, and they are moving now. So their scheduled stop, we thought, right around lap 50. And that's where they answered the call, right around lap 50. Now, can they go another 50 to lap 100 in the midway point, and then go to 150 and do this in 2 more stops? Without caution, I don't think so.
No, I definitely think with the cautions that we had, plus the pace lap that we had, they were not able to make it to lap 50. So we will have 4 green flag stops, should it stay green the whole way, coming for this race. Rafi Rodriguez is going to lead this lap, actually. Takes a lap led from Aiken. Aiken led the last lap as the drivers came in, but Matt Molinar is kind of lurking there, and remember, he had that penalty, so he had to come down pit lane and surrender a lap here. But if a caution were to come out when Rodriguez and Aiken come in, and Molinar is kind of hanging out there ahead of the leaders, he will get his lap back. So those are the situations how you get your race back in order again. He will be at the back of the pack when they restart, should a caution come out. But that would actually be even better than just him sitting here flailing around a lap down. So Molnar is hoping a caution comes out in the next 5 to 10 laps when these 2 drivers peel off.
Now remember, he got a black flag along with Thomas Mustanen, and we just flipped the camera to Thomas. Thomas is on the lead lap. He's a tail end of the lead lap. He's managed to escape. I want to say escape Matt. They're teammates, but Matt just not able to hang with Thomas. So Thomas quite a distance down the road from Molnar, about 10 seconds already, about 9.2. So I'm not sure how they got separated so much, but Matt is kind of stuck here now behind Rafi Rodriguez, who has picked up the lead of the race. Rafi last pitted on lap 24. Milton Vogelzang making an appearance here. Normally we see him in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship. Finished on the podium at our sprint race yesterday at Road America. Hops into the IRO5 and is now in second place in the running order. He last pitted on lap 20. Then VJO, who we saw having problems very early on in this race, doing a little bit of infield lawn mowing, so to speak, there in the green car. He is now fourth. Andrew Aiken now moved up to third, but VJO in fourth position. He last stopped on lap 24. The same with Aiken. Aiken last on 24.
Yeah, Aiken's car is the most dangerous car in this pack right now. He's gotten a little bit loose exiting turn 4 and turn 2 on the last lap consecutively. If you look at how those drivers pit, though, Ethan Aiken is... there it is! There's the looseness from Aiken that I was just describing a moment ago. Yeah, it looks like he managed to lose the rear yet again, and there's multiple cars involved here, and I believe Molnar has gotten his lap back from Rodriguez, so he will be back on the lead lap again.
All right, we're going to go back, and I was just watching behind him Jared Ray doing a huge push up the racetrack, and I thought he was going to hit the wall, and just as I changed the camera, that's when we had the loose condition of Aiken, and you see him riding the high line, which makes me think that he just wants to ride the high line, not turn that wheel, but you know what? I don't think he had a loose condition. I think he might have had a little help.
I think there was a little net code there, Gary. We'll take a look at it.
Yeah, that is Rob Barnicow. Might have made some contact there as we go back again and watch this from the blimp. Here is a good position. Barnicow down low. He's going to have Ethan Aiken right in front of him. Dirty air just hitting the front of Barnicow's car. And then all of a sudden it's push, 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 push. And even though there's not contact, he makes contact. And then poor Logan is in the neighborhood, and he gets collected. And VJO is, I don't know if VJO's finished off once and for all. Julian comes spinning through there. He might be done. But it's going to be day done for Logan, who was one of our oval guys last season, and Barnacow done. The 52 of Ryan Anderson, kind of in a Dan Weldon kind of homage throwback there. He's down in the grass.
I failed to see where Altena might have gotten through that. It seemed like he was trying to thread the needle a little bit, but unfortunately he picked wrong with Ryan Anderson. That was low on the bottom lane there, trying to sift through that, and Altena just, his car was coming through there. But this is the problem you have with the multiple strategies. You have some drivers that are having some difficulties with their tires. Aiken definitely looked like he was having difficulty. He was trying his best to just stay on the outside, and Barnacow, his teammate, unfortunately washed up the track a little bit, and it didn't look like an actual hit. It looked like there might have been a little bit of netcode there, Gary.
Yeah, netcode. Jared Ray cleared the accident zone and then goes back and grabs a gear and spins his own self in an incident unrelated. Well, kind of related. He wouldn't have to slow down if it wasn't for what was going on, but lights the tires up and sends the car into the outside wall. When he clears everything, grabs a gear and decides to go, and the car just, the low-end torque, like we saw in the restart, sends him into the wall for a pole sitter.
Yeah, that's definitely a shame for Logan Simmons. He was the driver leading that iconic trio on that last little bit there. Ethan got the better of him on the pit stop. As you saw, Ethan was able to sift his way through those slower cars there, but Logan just got wrapped up in something that was not his fault. So it's unfortunate for Logan there. So that's one of the iconic cars that are out of the mix, but Ethan and Caleb still continue going. VJO might, I don't know about, he got some error there, so I think that the underside of his car, if he were to continue, is hurt a little bit.
That was a hard hit. The General Lee would be proud of that one, but that was a hard hit for VJO in 19th position. So we are under caution here at lap 57, just after the leaders came to pit road. And that's really going to shake things up, and we're going to see where everyone will come if they decide to come to pit road. We're kind of at actually, everyone did. Rodriguez came to pit road at lap 56. So did Vogelzang. So
Gary, I'm so happy that I made that case for Matt Molnar, really just turning his race around. He managed to do exactly what should have happened to get his race back going again. So he's got his lap back now. He's towards the back of the field, and let's see how much ground he can make after his caution period. Yeah, good point. You made a good said. There's a long race, and he can get that lap back. So it's a 400-mile race, and he got it back.
Green flag.
And we were going green. I was going through the field, and in third spot, you see the name Control. And I got it under race control, which makes me think it's one of the admins who didn't change their name in the.
That would be Andrew Adair Saunders, joined unfortunately under the race control, the live admin from the last couple seasons. So that is Andrew Adair Saunders that is racing under race control.
Andrew, but it's Andrew AAS, but his name appears to be more AI related. So Julian Altena got through that spin, and he moves up to fourth. Car seems to be repaired at the moment. Jan Hoffman in fifth. Amon Lal and a very interesting livery combination. I think that's just maybe from an older template. It's just not looking, everything's lined up, but it kind of looks like purple and white camouflage a little bit. Very, 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 very abstract livery, but he is Julian Altena's teammate in third. Buchanan, he is back in seventh, and Thomas Mustanen He has worked his way up with Matt the Hammer Molnar in P8 and P9. So those guys that got the black flag, you called it. All props to you. They are back up in the lead pack here, or up inside the top 10, and Ethan Hagen now in 10th.
For any of our sports bettors out there, Molnar and Mustang getting back on the lead lap would be like a plus 1,600, Gary. Like, I would not have predicted that to happen before halfway, but these things do happen, and that's why what I was mentioning before is you got to keep a cool head in these things, because there may be a small window for you to get back into the race again, but when it does happen, it's like, okay, everything that just happened before, we'll just put it behind. And it's a stroke of good luck that brings these guys back into the pack. They have the pace to get themselves up towards the front. And now they are saying, okay, I got to be a little more careful this time around. I'm not going to take any risks. I'm just going to put myself in a spot where I can race with these guys up ahead and get these spots back. And if anyone put a bet down on Molnar and Mustang and on plus 1,600, they'd be big winners right now.
Molnar just following Thomas on through. So apparently they do have a very good setup. Julian goes high off the corner. It makes me think that Julian's car it's just a little damaged, and he's got some drag on him now. He is now following back through the order. If you're just joining us, this is P1's coverage of round 1 of season 12, the transition season of the Sim Gaming Expo Classic IndyCar Series, coming to you from Legacy Michigan International Speedway for the BJ Manufacturing Indy 400. We have now completed 62 of 200 scheduled laps. If you're enjoying P1's coverage of today's race, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for future iRacing content. The next race for us on the channel, it's me and Andrew doing double duty tonight. Later tonight, Andrew and I return for round 2 of season 9 of the longest running Dallara DW12 series on iRacing. Well, if you like legacy IndyCar racing, then Sunday is going to be your day here on P1, as the Dark Horse Racing League's DW12 series is going to head to Charlotte Motor Speedway for the very first time. Coverage starts at 8 p.m. later tonight. Don't miss it. It's all right here on P1. Legacy Dallara IR05s in the afternoon and Legacy Dallara DW12s in the evening.
So Jan Hoffman is leading this race right now, and I'm just going to break the fourth wall a little bit from my driving standards. This is an exact Jan Hoffman kind of race. Jan Hoffman qualifies typically pretty well, doesn't really know what to do when the race starts, so he drops back about 5, 6, 7 positions, and then all of a sudden, out of absolute nowhere, Hoffman finds himself towards the front. This is especially annoying for a driver like me on the road course, because I say to Jamie, okay, I'm faster than Hoffman, and then all of a sudden for the last 20 laps of the race, when Hoffman's behind me, he's running half a second to 3/4 of a second faster than me, and I just wonder where all this is coming from. And I talked to Hoffman about this, and he always mentions, I just get used to kind of how the race flow goes. So if there's anybody that wants to observe how the flow of a race goes, it's Jan Hoffman. He has now went from the mid-pack and put himself towards the front of this pack here, and he will be very competitive going forward, especially as we lost one of the iconic drivers. The race has been kind of flipped upside on its head, and we have some drivers that we don't typically see up front, such as Rafi Rodriguez, Jan Hoffman, and Mustinen is now making his way back towards the front again, and he's doing it in a careful and calculated way.
Today's Michigan Indy 400 from Legacy Michigan International Speedway is proudly sponsored by BJ Manufacturing. BJ Manufacturing provides high-quality machining, welding, and fabrication work in Riverside, California. To check out more about them or to learn more, check out their link in the description. You know, Riverside, a former home of a very famous race course. Ironically, I believe they did film scenes of the original Herbie movie at the Riverside road course. But IndyCar did used to go there right before they demolished the place. The Riverside, steeped in IndyCar racing tradition. Rafi Rodriguez picks up the lead now, or has been holding on to the lead. Matt the Hammer Molnar, he's back at it, and he, being a lap down, is now to the inside, and he is going to go from a lap down now to your leader off of 4.
Yeah, Matt Molnar knows how to get around these big ovals. he's been in Classic IndyCar Series as long as I have. Perhaps he doesn't run the full season like the rest of us do, but he's always someone to be watched out for, especially as these races get longer and longer. He is so consistent. He is so calculated. He used to work with Matt Cook back in the day, back on the old Aero X formation. So Molnar can really show up when it needs to. And unfortunately for him, he had that black flag that wasn't able to be cleared, but he is showing his way up here, and he's going to show these drivers behind him how to go. I wouldn't be surprised if Mustanen, Rafi, and I believe that's Ethan that's now come up there as well, just sit behind, do that single line formation that we're so used to seeing with these cars, and see where it takes them. We are about halfway through the fuel tank right now. I don't think you'll see anybody until around lap 92 to 95 or so, based on my calculations here, but we have quite a line of cars here, Gary. You see top 8 have really broken away.
And there is the nose of Ethan Hagen. Ethan has pretty good luck at this race. He won the 2021 race here, 400-miler, and finished on the podium the last 500-miler we had back here in the 2024 season. He finished third, and that was won by your teammate, Alexander Russell. Your teammate in the R18s.
Yes, that is correct. There's a little. I did notice a little bit of a wall scrape behind Pim Van Gastel and Jared Ray Hutton, both damaged cars from previous incidents. It looks like Pim got into the barrier there. Jared had to take a little bit of an avoiding action, but all seems to be okay.
Pim's going to pull off, and he goes down to the grass at the tri-oval and toes.
Yeah, I think there might be too much damage on the 010 car there. I believe he just got up into the barrier, and Jared Ray Hutton, definite good avoidance there to not get into any sort of situation where we could find ourselves with another caution. But unfortunate for Pim there, he's going to retire from this race. And this is turning into a high attrition race, Gary, as we see about 10 to 12 cars out of this race now.
Season 12, the transition season of the Classic IndyCar Series, is brought to you by the Sim Gaming Expo. Get ready for the ultimate simulation gaming car on the wall, and that is Andrew. See what happened there? Did he get a little bit of the boot?
Yeah, no, I think it looked very similar to that lap 3 or 4 incident there, where the wall might have just grabbed him.
It did.
That's Gary. From driving these cars, that is 100% a matter of where you're placing your eyes. You're always wanting to place your eyes on the apex in the next corner, but if you're watching the back of the car ahead of you, and all of a sudden they turn, your eyes are still pointed straight. And if you don't switch your eyes to go where you want your car to go, it's very, very easy to be swallowed up by that wall there that starts to really come off at such an angle that your car doesn't really react as fast as you want it to.
I kind of call it hypnotizing. You're kind of so closely following the car in front of you that you're hypnotized, and you're kind of fooled into, if they make a mistake, then you kind of drive yourself into one, and that may be a little bit of what had it. But yeah, you're right. The wall kind of reached out and grabbed him there, right there at the entry of turn 3, and banged up against the wall, lost a lot of momentum. He's now out of that lead pack. So right now in this lead pack, it is Rafi Rodriguez in that very Target Chip Ganassi looking base livery, all the way back to Altena in 12th. I think really the top 12 is kind of in that lead group, although I'm going to say really the top 8 are together. There's the last 4 of that group are starting to get separated just a little bit, although Lovegren and Herbie is clawing to get back up in there.
No, your take on that situation is 100% correct. The top 12 are still kind of in the mix here. There's a little bit of a separation from 9th on back, but they are still in the mix here to try and pick something up. Any sort of pit stop flaw or anything can get these guys back into a situation where they can get up to the front. This upcoming pit stop here will separate this pack quite a bit. One thing, going back to that hypnosis you were saying, I have to get this out. Whenever I watch this Daytona 500 on the NASCAR guys that are like 30 cars deep in single file up against the wall, I'm saying, hey, if any driver up ahead of me makes one small mistake, it's going to be a huge day.
Yes.
Right? So when you're following a single file formation, which is what the IR05 drivers really tend to get themselves into, if you make any sort of mistake, you find yourself in the barrier. So I definitely can sympathize for what Saunders went through there. You're trusting that the car ahead is making the move when they should make the move, and you could predict it. And driving these cars in a single file formation, I can declare that it is definitely very difficult to just make sure you trust the car ahead of you.
Rodriguez trying to find a lane, and he just can't find the clean one. Mustanen holds on. Milan Vogelsang there in that light blue car down underneath Caleb Weekly, trying to get past Weekly up into that lead group.
We haven't really talked about Vogelsang at all. He is a newcomer to the series. I believe this should be his first race. I have not seen him racing in this series before, but he did start, I believe, outside the top 20, if I'm not mistaken, and he has managed to get himself in this lead pack here. So what a really great start and an impressive run from Milan. And if it were me and I was new to the series, I would just want to sit here and learn. This is definitely an opportunity for you to see, okay, what do these fast guys do ahead of me in order to get myself in a good position for the end of the race? All he should be worrying about at this very moment of the race is, let me do a good pit stop. Let me just, every time I go by turn 3 and 4, let me observe a point on the billboards there where I want to brake, make sure I have a good pit stop. Don't worry about passing to get to the front or anything like that. Just, this is your time to learn what the activity of the drivers ahead of you is and how you can optimize your next pit stop.
Caleb goes shooting to the top, and he keeps it off the wall. And now they're single file up at the top, but standing down low, bringing Vogelsang with them. Remember, the bottom groove does not carry all that momentum down the backstretch like the high groove does. Side by side, Mustanen and Rafi down the backstretch as Rafi noses out, and plus he has a little bit of the draft in front of him to help pull him forward. Hey, get ready for the ultimate simulation gaming experience. The Sim Gaming Expo is bringing all genres of simulation and gaming technology under one roof. Join us in September 18th through 20th in Chicagoland at the Schaumburg Convention Center to try out the latest gear from the biggest brands in the industries. Meet your favorite streamers and celebrate your passion for simulation with our incredible community. Don't miss out. To get your tickets now for the second Sim Gaming Expo, go to simgamingexpo.com and be a part of simulation gaming history today. I don't think tickets are on sale yet, but certainly you want to learn more. Last year's Sim Gaming Expo was pretty big for the inaugural event, and it's going to be even bigger for year 2. In fact, Andrew Wood needs to be there.
Just remind me as I get closer. I was supposed to go last year, and it came up way too fast, and I was like, oh, okay. Kind of missed out on that a little bit. These drivers are coming up on Franz Josef Stum right now, who is going to be going a lap out. Look at that. Look at
back wing. Yeah, that back wing is...
Well, not just the back wing, but just look how fast these drivers in a single file line can move. Just time after time. This is such such a saying to show how fast these drivers go when they're just kind of pushing each other in a straight line and not going side by side. That being said, I have been watching Rodriguez a little bit. He is really kind of making Ethan a little bit stressed out there in second place. Rodriguez gets that outside line right now, and he wants to be the car that's outside of Ethan and pushing Molnar. So that's kind of what in this pack right now is upsetting that single file formation right now, is Rodriguez does not like sitting behind Ethan Hagen. And sometimes you just got to say, okay, well, these two drivers can work together a little bit better, but perhaps Rodriguez has a little more straight line in his setup that is allowing him to get up to the back of Molnar, and it looks like Ethan might be kind of folding a little bit
Yeah.
and saying, "Okay, let's see what you can do behind Molnar, and perhaps his straight line speed could push this whole entire field a little bit faster."
George Anzaldo in chat, he's a Sim Gaming Expo icon, and he says tickets will go on sale mid-February for the Sim Gaming Expo.
I think Rodriguez's tires are starting to give out a little bit because Ethan was easily able to get underneath him. So perhaps Rodriguez just stays where he is and gives that little bit of a push to catch up to Molnar instead of really upsetting the apple cart of these drivers. As you can see, that whole entire activity has spread these drivers back 2 by 2. They're not able to stay in that single file formation anymore. Mustanen is down on the inside, kind of lost here. He's lost a little bit of that forward speed there. But we were mentioning that top 12 that was within range of staying with each other, and it looks like we've got about 8 of them now.
But Herbie and Craven and Herbie here, he's worked he got back up into it. In fact, he's around Hoffman and he's up in the group now.
These drivers are getting so close to one another coming out of the corners, and that has everything to do with the tire, where these drivers are starting to feel that right rear tire working now, especially if they keep riding this high side. That right rear tire, likely based on the setup, is doing all the work right now. So it could lead to a little bit of what we saw with Andrew Aiken last time around, that the right rear tire might just give up on you. And hopefully that doesn't happen in this big, long, straight formation. But I would say we're about 3 to 5 laps away from maybe our first driver peeling down onto the pit road.
Currently showing laps since last pit. Molnar 34, Egan 41, Rodriguez 34, Mustanen 34, Weekly 41, Vogelzang 43, Lovegren 43, Hoffman 34, Garrett 40, Altina. That is your top 10, 34. So those that are in the 40 plus, obviously we're going to expect them coming to pit road a lot sooner. These are drivers that all pitted around lap 49 or so.
Lovegren's the first one to bite here. Looks like he's coming down pit road.
He went to the apron very early. I don't know if he was trying to be conservative there. Is the race control ruling that you have to pit off a 3? I thought you could pit off a 4 here. So maybe he's just being conservative.
Yeah,
and he missed his marks.
He missed his marks too, which doesn't help. But yeah, no, in the Classic IndyCar Series, they are all about the safe pit entries. So I'm sure a lot of these drivers are going to be pulling down a little bit early to make it around. So I think you're going to see a lot of these drivers under green flag conditions coming down off of turn 3 and riding the apron around till turn 4.
And don't look now, but it's getting closer and closer and closer in that group of 3 behind the group of 7 that are currently leading. Garrett trying to reel in his teammate Jan Hoffman. Right behind Garrett is Julian Altina, just planting the car on the attenuator and just staying in the draft bubble there and bringing right along with him Julian's teammate Amon Law in 10th. As they are trying to creep in closer and closer and closer. And they're in that draft window right now, Andrew. 4/10 from Garrett up to Hoffman.
This is definitely a lot closer than they were about 5 laps ago.
Garrett in the wall!
We saw Garrett make that same exact wall visit earlier on in this race, and that's definitely going to hurt him. Let's take a look at the side of his car here and see if he's got any damage. I almost think he got away with that one again, Gary.
Yeah. We're trying to get up close shots here, and I might have just been, we are in the February now, which is the month with Valentine's Day, so it must have been just a kiss.
Okay, I'll go with that one, Gary. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that little bit of a twist. But look, we see drivers coming down into the apron right now. I think we got some more pit stops happening. Garrett
coming to pit road, so he is going to pit off of 4. It looks like everybody is pitting off of 4. So it looks like mainly it might have been that Caven Lovegren was just conservatively taking it nice and easy and coming to pit road in a more conservative way, which there's nothing wrong with that. You just lose a lot of time. But he maybe thought discretion was the better part of valor as someone making kind of their first start, maybe still learning the car as Johnny Garrett goes into his stall sideways. And is he going to hit the marks? No, he's still searching. Now he goes up on the jacks, and that's going to cost a lot of time because he came with friends, and he's going to leave alone.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I've been in that situation so many times, especially when you have a big transition between the concrete and the asphalt. I'm not sure which direction it is on this pit lane exactly, but you think you're stopping, and all of a sudden you're like, oh no, I'm not going to stop in my box in time, and then you have to readjust. Everybody in this series has done that once or twice, and it's just unfortunate that it happens in the race and not in the practice session.
And on top of that, and that you've been in these cars, you raced in season 11, we're in season 12. You've won in this car, but it's incredibly hard to slow down and stop. These cars everyone calls them pigs, and we will race on road courses, and you will see why they're pigs on road courses when we get to the road course portion of the schedule coming up next month. But it's not, you would think it's pretty easy to stop these cars because most formula style cars like this stop on a dime, but these are pigs. These do not stop on a dime.
And they're very easy to lock the front tires too. So you think you're stopping in time, but if you press the brake a little too much, you're going to slide right by. And I think that's exactly what happened to Johnny Garrett there.
And in the real world in these cars, they would have a super speedway configuration, a short oval configuration, and a road course configuration. And on the road course configuration, what you don't see are the thicker and more robust brake discs that they have on the car. Whereas on super speedways, and maybe you could speak to this, Andrew, as well, the brake discs on a super speedway car, much thinner, much smaller, it reduces drag, and in order to stop a car with smaller brake discs, they don't have the gripping and holding power those discs do as, like, say, something that the road course discs do.
You definitely need to have a little bit of an extra little bit of distance in order to stop it. So you can press the brake initially and then kind of let off of it a little bit and then push it again as you get into the box. And that takes a lot of practice. Rafi
coming down. Amon Lal coming down. 43 coming to 44 laps on this stint, which tells me 2 more stops for sure still. No one is able to get to that 50 lap mark. If someone can get to the 50, final stop at round 150 might be plausible at this point, as we have cars coming up on that, but they still have to do another 12 miles, another 6 laps, and that's a long time.
All the leaders are coming in this lap, Gary.
Jan Hoffman staying out. Oh, contact! Vogelzang into the back of Mustanen. Mustanen losing it, and he goes into Vogelzang.
Oh, Gary, this is what I was talking about from Vogelzang's perspective. It's every lap you have to predict exactly where you need to stop, where you need to slow down to enter the pit lane. And I think he had stopped enough, but you were mentioning that braking before, and I think that it maybe just didn't stop the car enough. And when that whole accordion comes up behind, that's why it's always so scary to pit in a line in these cars. And unfortunately, it's gotten Mustanen.
And Jan Hoffman picked a good time to go an extra lap with all the chaos on pit road. He now pits as he comes down now to a pretty much clear pit road entry area where we just had a run-in between our defending series champion, Thomas Mustanen, and the guy that finished on the podium in race number 2 at Road America in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship, Milan Vogelzang. Vogelzang currently on pit road, extended stay, extended repairs. He's out of the cockpit with the meatball flag. His day might be done. Mustanen under repair right now on pit road for an extended stop. Our defending series champion. Bad day goes good. Well, good day, bad day, good day, now back to bad day. And I don't think it's going to improve for him anymore here for a defending series champion. It's in 14th position and stuck on pit road for extended repairs.
This will be Mustanen's one drop race. Unfortunately, he has to nail it from here in order to reclaim his championship crown there. And it's always kind of a bad situation when you have to put yourself in a spot where you're relying on your first race being the bad one and the rest of them have to go good. But let's revisit that pit lane entry, Gary. The very last time Classic IndyCar Series race was the Indy 500 from season 11, and I was racing up at the front with Henry Bennett, my teammate, as you remember it, and him and I were talking multiple times about when we want to pit, and our lap entry was the same every time, and I said, I do not want to pit with you because I will run into you as you come into the pit lane. And he said, no, it'll be fine. We'll just go to the other lane. Like, you'll go right, I'll go left. And when you're trying to stop for the Indy 500 pit lane, that is such a stressful, that's like the most stressful part of the race is braking for the entry to the pit lane, because A, you don't want to speed, B, you don't want to lose the back of the car, and C, you don't want to hit the person you're pitting with. So Jan Hoffman did the absolute right thing there. I'm sure he said, oh, I could probably go one more lap, even if I had to put it in a higher fuel mix to make it, because he doesn't want to pit with 3 other cars that may tangle with each other on the pit entry.
A lot of leagues, Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship being one, there's some other ones out there that they want you to, when they come to pit road, to get to line up in the high-speed lane, and then as you get closer to your pit, then you can go to the inside lane and then hit your stall. Unlike the official series, which you see on Tuesday nights here on P1, on Monday nights, also for the open series, when you come to pit road, you could just roll down all the pit boxes if you want to. There's no rule against it, but there's some leagues that do a rule where you have to line up in that high-speed lane on the far right side going to pit road. I have a hard time doing that. If I can obey that rule, I will, and I think the drivers here are trying to do that. But what I like to do, especially when I'm coming to pit road and a lot of other drivers, I trust myself. I don't trust the guy behind me. So what I like to do is I like to offset myself coming to pit road. So I don't run into somebody and I'm looking behind me, someone's not going to run into me, because I have a tendency to back the corners up a little bit so I can come to pit road a little bit more safer, but not as aggressive, whereas driver sees an opportunity to get to jump some spots, so they want to hit aggressively. So I know that, so I try to offset myself. But some of these leagues where they have that rule that you have to line up on the right side in that on the far right side in the high-speed lane, that's where these accordions occasionally happen, and that's where we see these incidents. So I try to offset myself to avoid it and then work my way back into single file. But it's not always the case when 5 or 6 cars are coming to pit road. There's only so many ways you can offset yourself.
We got a very interesting situation here, Gary, where Matt Molnar is our leader.
Yeah.
An iconic car is the next car to go a lap down, but I think this is a situation where they have a teammate car that can run the same pace, and perhaps you have Molnar and Egan, or perhaps Logan Simmons, who's not in this race anymore, but perhaps is watching the race, coaching Jared Ray Hutton to say, okay, take this line, take that line. They're orchestrating. Iconic is so good at orchestrating their races in such a way where they could still be very fast despite being in a different situation in the race standings. So I definitely see what's forming here, Gary. Matt is the leader. Matt can chill. He just has to take whatever line he wants to take. There's somebody else in Iconic that is orchestrating this right now, saying Jared's not going to go a lap down. He's going to be the rabbit to perhaps save maybe a teaspoon of fuel at a time for the drivers that are up ahead. If he's a little bit damaged, he may not be going as fast, but you see everybody is in a single file line behind them. Nobody's upsetting anything. Nobody wants to make a big move right now to try and get any spots forward. So I think that's exactly what Iconic drivers want right now, is let's put someone out there that's not really an important person in this race to help string these people along and move away from everybody that's fifth on back. So Julian, Amon, Rafi Rodriguez, those drivers are going to start to fall back a little bit if Jared Ray Hutton is able to execute all the instructions that the Iconic guys in the tower are telling him to do.
And otherwise known as team orders, and that is perfectly legal in IndyCar racing. A lot of people don't like team orders. But right now, Jared Ray Hunt started for the pole. We know he has pace, but he is providing the ultimate sacrifice right now for his teammate, Matt the Hammer Molnar, right behind him. There you see Matt's nose right in your living room, right in your screen. Here's a screenshot for you, Matt. Go ahead and put that on your PC. But right now, Jared Ray Hutton providing, being the ultimate sacrifice right now for a teammate. Just punching a hole in the air. But on top of that, and the reason why you don't see a lot of racing behind it, Andrew, and you can explain this as well, everyone still has to need another stop. So, I mean, it only makes sense on this stint to make it go as long as possible. No one wants to race because everyone now knows they need to save, because that last stop, the more they can save, the shorter that last stop is.
Yeah, and again, it's very, very hard to save in these cars, especially when you have such a long line like this. It's almost like a 5-car train that you'd see on a public transportation, right? Everybody has to stay on the same speed going forward. If of course trains are all latched together and everything, but if you try and, this is where I was saying before, if you had altered your fuel map a little bit to perhaps map 2, you'll still be going full throttle, but you might start to drop off the back of this pack a little bit. And it's always very difficult to try and keep that forward momentum going. Perhaps that fuel map doesn't have such big acceleration at a turn 2 or turn 4, where you need that move to get down the straightaway. So everybody is foot flat to the floor right now for sure. But in Molnar's case, Jared may have a little bit of damage from a previous incident where he in particular could possibly save a little bit coming off the corner. If Jared's got a little bit of a push coming off turn 4 or coming off turn 2, and Matt could say, okay, I'll lift my foot off the throttle for like a half second. And that just saves little bits at a time. But everyone back around where Jan Hoffman is, he has to stay in that train, and he has to stay in that draft envelope. And that whole entire pack of 5 cars is going to move forward a lot faster than if you're Julian Altena and Amon Lal and Rafi Rodriguez, that are kind of a little bit unorganized right now. They don't have that same straight line speed that those top 5 have, so they will start to walk away little by little.
And there you see, these are all the long-time teams also in the classic IndyCar Series with these Dallara IRO5 chassis. This is a legacy chassis, but iconic Team Watson Racing, iconic. And we got the what team? I forget to say the team name for Jan Hoffman. It's off the tip of my tongue, and I just can't say Vortex. There we go. Vortex. I almost said Velocity, because that's Velocity. That's Altena, and they're back there in this next group. Really, I think the real independent guy here, with no one to really work with, I think doing this all by himself, going solo like an ultimate handicap match, is Rafi Rodriguez. I think Rodriguez is all on his own, whereas everyone else kind of in this top 7, even though this group of 3 we're seeing right now is kind of separated a little bit from the top 4. Everyone has somebody to work with. Rafi Rodriguez all on his own.
I'm double checking that for you, Gary, right now. Yes, Rafael Rodriguez comes from PDS International. He is a solo driver on his own team. He might have other teams and other cars and everything, but in this particular race, he is all by himself.
And this is a pretty older lineup out there as well, noted by our chief statistician, Robert Groscher. Johnny Garrett, Robert Groscher, Franz Joseph Sturm, Andrew Aiken, Rob Barkanow, Rafi Rodriguez, and 2 names that also not in this race at all, but he has them labeled as Ariel Guerrera and Jack Turner, all part of what they call the Master Class in 2026. Drivers that are at least 45 years old. That's younger than me, though, so I don't know how master that is necessarily, but I feel pretty old at times. But a lot of older drivers in this league, kind of driving an older car and having a lot of fun with it.
That's what makes this league so unique, is that there's such a wide range of ability, of age, of everything. And these drivers are diehard IRO5 fans. They've been racing this car since the car was released on the iRacing circuit here. So a lot of these drivers have been racing this car for years and years. And that definitely brings a nice mix of, hey, I've been racing this car for 10 years. I know everything about it. So the age doesn't necessarily tell the whole story.
And up front, Sturm has been caught again with that bad wing. It just tells you, you talked about earlier, we caught him not too long ago. It just tells you how much down on speed he is with the bad arrow. And, yeah, he's getting freight trained right now. We are more than 20 laps for every single driver in this group. Last stop for Molnar is lap 101. Last stop for Egan, 95. 95 for Weekly. Hoffman, 102. Julian Altena in 5th and 102. Amon Lal and Rafael Rodriguez in 6th and 7th. Lap 100 for their final stop. So everyone passed the 20-lap mark. We suspect that they have another 25 or so to go. And that's going to get them really close to 150. Can anyone do a 50-lap stint? So far, no. But, well, let's say it this way. No, but possible with a lot of caution.
I think that a late caution could possibly put this race on its head. I don't want to see it personally. I want to see these cars race a couple more green flag pit stops, because we saw how action-packed they were on the last go-around. So I think that these top 4 drivers are really kind of staking their claim in how things are going right now. Jared Ray Hutton, he needs to have a really good pit stop, or he will fall into that pack of one lap down cars. But I think he's doing a really, really good job now of towing the iconic racing teammates along. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens on this next round of pit stops. How long has Jared Ray Hutton been out?
I will look that up. Jared Ray, let's see. He stopped at lap 101, so he's 23 laps. So he's kind of on the same strategy as Molnar, kind of within a lap. That's helpful for Molnar at least.
Of course, and he will need to keep that exact stream going forward if he wants to be the lead car in this rabbit cat and mouse situation we have going on here. He's the rabbit of the cars right now. He's pulling this whole entire team along, and you see that nobody is making a move right now, kind of leading to what I was saying before, how everyone wants to stay in a single file line and just keep moving forward with that same speed that this top 5 or top 4 plus the lap car or the last car in the lap, however you want to call it, is pulling this whole entire field along. And they are running a little bit faster than Julian Altena and these cars behind. They're about a 10.5 faster per lap than these cars that are behind here.
Here's your last lap. That's the fastest lap of the race right there. This should last lap. There we go. Last lap, miles per hour. There you see that group as it starts to reset. Some calculations are a little off because of where they retired the race at. But you see Altena at a 213 flat, whereas Molnar in that group all 213 plus. I want to give this league a little bit of hype if anyone's watching from home. And a lot of times when you get into league competition, it's always dominated by one name. And to be truthful, last season was really dominated by Thomas Musanen, who in the middle of the season went on a full race run, and that really kind of vaulted himself into a unbeatable position where he won the championship with many races to go before the end of the season. But to give this series credit, the last 4 races of the season were won by 4 different racers. Mustanen, Strauss, Egan, and Dance all won the last 4 races. So we're coming into the first race of this season with the previous 4 races of last season, each with a different winner. That to me says there's a lot of parity. And as the saying goes, and especially being on a Sunday, on any given Sunday, any driver can win. And we are possibly looking at going 5 for 5 in the last 5 races. If someone like Molnar, someone like Weekly, someone like Hoffman, someone like Altena wins. If Egan wins, well, he's going to break that because Egan won at Sebring round 16 of last season. That's I think we have I can't remember what round, but it was the St. Petersburg round, and then the next round after that was the final race in Indianapolis. So if Egan does, we'll kind of beat that record. But the last 4 races, we've had 4 different winners. Do we go 5 for 5? And I think we're in a prime position to maybe see that right now. So if you're watching from home and say, hey, all these leagues are the same, it's always one guy that dominates and the rest are just us trying to finish second, be best in class. Not here in the Classic IndyCar Series. Is you've got the ability, bring the car, bring the track, bring your setups, and let's go.
I think Molnar looks the most comfortable right now. So he did go that lap down. Unfortunate for him, he had that pit penalty, but he finds himself back in the lead again. So he has managed to pass every car somehow and put himself back in a situation where he can just show off in this front pack here. I'm not counting on someone like Jan Hoppen. If he has a really, really good next pit stop, he could find himself right up there as well. And Vortex Sim Racing hasn't had quite the success that they've had in previous seasons here. So I think Jan Hoppen could possibly put himself in a really nice spot here. And as I mentioned before, he is the kind of driver that just observes and he watches and he gets better and better. So perhaps he's learning something sitting in the back of this 5-car pack here, and maybe he can find his way to the front and upset this Vortex Iconic Racing situation that is happening up front here with the 3 drivers that are ahead of him.
Let's give you a little update on the racetrack, as I think we have some drivers coming to pit road. That is Kevin Lovegren and Herbie coming to pit road right now for his next to last stop at lap 133. He came in 41 laps ago. So this is a scheduled stop as he brings it down and slides into his stall. He is a rookie here in the Classic IndyCar Series. Down and away, and he will move off pit road for his next to last stop. So he's going to probably come to pit road again next. Well, you could kind of separate your race into 2 bits now. I mean, you could probably, in the neighborhood of starting to get to 60 to go, just divide it in half and come in, into the 30s for the next stop with 30s or something to go, and you should be able to go from there. So he has a couple options on how he wants to do this, or just run the tank as down as much as possible and just pit as late as possible, and then all you need to do is kind of a splash there at the end.
Well, I'm actually watching this front pack right now, and looks like they're getting a little feisty behind Jared Ray Hutton. It looks like Molnar got right up on the rear wing at a turn 4 there, so I think these tires are starting to go off a little bit, and I think at any point now you could everybody has to do 2 more stops from here. So I think that at any point we're going to see these drivers peel off. I believe Kevin Lovegren was the first car that hit the last time around.
Yeah.
So I believe that within 5 laps, we're going to start seeing this front pack come in. And it's so nerve-wracking, Gary. Like, especially when you're running in a front pack like this, you do not want to mess up your pit stop. We saw the drama with Mustang last time, and Mazagrav that was coming in with him. So I think that these drivers want to split it up a little bit, especially when they know everybody has two more stops to go. You can come in at any time and really split this race up into 2 more pit stops. So I think that these top 4 that are sitting behind Jared Ray Hutton will come in at different times and not try and impede one another coming down the pit road, because they know that if they mess up at all, that's going to really impact what's happening for the last part of this race here.
And if you want to ask someone how critical the final pit stops are of a race, just ask Scott Dixon.
I absolutely have your back there, Gary. that one rings true for sure. So I think within 10 laps, we're going to see all 4 of these drivers come in. I would say come in when you feel the most confident that you can stop your car right on the pit entry, not speed, not have any big issues or anything like that. So I would be surprised if drivers come in together, especially the iconic cars that are running 1, 2, 3 right now. Oh, you see, they're moving now. So I think that we're going to start to see some movement here in the top drivers.
This is lap 43 coming to 44 for Egan, and this makes sense. He did this basically on his last stint, so he's slowing down off the corner, bringing Caleb Weekly with him. Not a very slow pit road speed limit here, 55 miles per hour. Again, iRacing, if you could ever make it allow us to do adjustable pit road speed limits, that would be awesome. Johnny Garrett on pit road as well.
This allows Jan Hoffman to close in on this top 2 here, or the back of the lead lap car of Jared Ray Hutton, and coming up to the back of Matt Molnar. So Hoffman is sucking up that draft envelope there to get to the back of Molnar. This will help him get a little bit more track position, even though it's only about maybe 100 meters or so. He's able to get that speed up there, so when he makes his pit stop, he could possibly come out with those other leaders. So, he came very close to the barrier there, but I think that if I was Jan Hoppen, as soon as I get to the back of Molnar, I'm coming in, because I will have made up all that distance that was ordinarily
you're not going to be any faster, right? You're not going to be any faster at that point.
Exactly.
Lap 141 of 200. Today's Michigan 400 is brought to you by BJ Manufacturing. BJ Manufacturing provides high-quality machining, welding, and fabrication work in Riverside, California. To learn more, check out their links in the description. Good old Riverside, home to the old Riverside Raceway, a place where many IndyCar races over history were held.
Gary, I'm getting a lot of hate in this chat right now, I must say, and I'm not really sure I'm a fan of it all.
Well, it's just and here comes Amon Lal coming to pit road, I believe, with Rafi. No, yes, with Rafi. So Rafi on the outside, he goes into the grass and he's going to miss, and he's going to hit the attenuator, and Rodriguez's race is over.
So hard to get yourself off of that routine of going 200 plus miles per hour and then braking for pit lane. And yeah, unfortunate for Rafi Rodriguez there. He just lost the back end, and yeah, he found himself in the attenuator. And we saw that in the Daytona 24 last week with one of the drivers that were braking for turn 1, and all of a sudden the back end of the car came around and the tires were there.
We got Matt Wagner in chat giving you grief, and we got George Anzaldo. He's in chat there. Everybody in chat. We got Shane Coker with the Votive Racing League checking in. So if you're in chat, check in. Say hi. Let us know you're there. If you have a favorite driver, shout them out. We'll get them on the camera here for you if they're still in the race. As we are expecting, should be next to last. Although we're at a point, if we're going to be green flag racing from here on out, and we're not going to have a caution, does somebody out there throw the dice and try to do a maximum save? I don't know if it's possible, but I mean, at this point, it's worth a throw.
I saw Molnar make a little move there, and I think he's coming in. Yeah, I think I saw him come on the inside of Jared Ray Hutton there, and I don't know if he was trying to make a pass or something like that, but I believe Molnar's coming in this lap. Ooh, and Jared is also coming in.
Oh, and I think Molnar had to check up a little bit. He got up on Jared a little bit faster than he wanted to. Here you go, and he again getting to the line. Again, that's what happens when you're following the car directly in front of you. It could accordion. It gets a little tight through there. So we're at 55 to go, and they've done 44 laps. So right now, we're looking at a splash and go inside of 10 laps to get to the end here.
Wasn't a fan of that at all, Gary. That definitely held up Molnar's movement going down into the pit road. They should have orchestrated that a little bit better for someone that's not on the lead lap. on the lead lap, but someone who's not a factor in this race. I believe that Ethan and Caleb are probably going to overtake them when they come out of the pit lane.
And we're watching right now as Jan Hoffman coming to pit road. And, they are going to jump one car. They jump weekly. Or, excuse me, they jump, I'm sure who that's on the apron there. Let's get back to the racing. Jan Hoffman's still on pit road. So he is now moving. Okay, back up front. It is weekly now around Molnar. And Ethan Hagan, you called it. They are your leaders. So Molnar, he's going to claw, just hang on at the final car attached to this group. But now your leaders are Ethan Hagan and Caleb Weekly. But coming off of pit road is Jan Hoffman.
Now, because everybody had to do 2 more stops, it is possible, because Hoffman has such a lead, he may split this fuel tank into 2 different...
He did. I think that's exactly what he did, because he was in the box for less than 10 seconds. Everybody else, with the exception of Hans Pekkanen, I think he did much the same thing. But Pekkanen was also in the box for less than 10 seconds. But everyone, with the exception of Hoffman and Pekkanen, everyone else more than 10 seconds. So Jan Hoffman now, with the gamble now, that he knows he can't make it, even with the full tank. So let's throw in a half tank. We're going to be faster. We're going to have to come to pit road sooner before everyone else. But everyone else still has to come to pit road.
It'll be interesting to see. This is something that we always toy with in the Chimera camp too, Gary, is trying to figure out if doing a double short stop is faster, or just filling it up and having a very, very fast last pit stop is going to be what it takes, because it's possible that Ethan Hagan and Caleb Weekly will not be taking tires on the next run. Because the pit stop for the fuel is going to be so short. They will be on the worn tires, but they will save so much time in the pits. So now this is the time where the iconic cars need to get together. As you see, they are. Molnar didn't do anything sketchy or anything to really try and make any moves
and
forward.
A purple lap.
Let's see if these 3 drivers can pull up to Hoffman, because Hoffman's going to be in the box a little bit longer for the last stop. He's ahead right now. And that's something, especially when you're fighting a large team like this, you have to do in order to get that track position. So a caution right now, or a last stop where you know that these drivers may not take tires at the end, Hoffman will be overtaken. So this will be very, very interesting to see between 2 team camps and what they want to do. It will affect this last little stint here.
I just circled the key number on the tree there, 1.5 seconds. So if this was the IR18, they are in the draft envelope of Hoffman. Barely, but there. But this is the IR05. This is a legacy IndyCar, and the draft envelope is only about 0.6 or so. Half second to 0.6. And they're actually kind of running that number down now. For a while, it wasn't coming down. Now it's down the straightaways. It's coming down. Down in the corners, it's going back up. But the straightaways obviously are shortening this distance right now.
And if you're looking at the lap times right now, Gary, it looks like those drivers are doing 33.4s. Jan Hoffman is also doing 33.4, but he also might have less fuel in the tank, so running by himself may actually help in the short term. But once these tires start to wear a little bit, I think that Hoffman's going to start to lose a little bit of time. So 33.4 by all 3 cars, second, third, and fourth, and Hoffman did a high 4. So right now they're not really gaining so much time on him, but I think that's simply because of the less fuel in the tank that Hoffman has right now.
And you're 48 to go here. I mean, you're still, right around 100 miles left to go in this race. It's no time to panic. If you're these guys in this group, you have plenty of time. A lot can still happen. We can still see a caution. You still have a final pit stop you have to go. So let's run your race. Do not panic. And that's one thing you got to tell yourselves and tell your teammates in the cockpit here. Just keep running them down. There's still time. It's not like it's less than 10 to go. You have 50 laps to go here, roughly, and a 400-mile race. Oh, Weekly grabs the apron and he shoots up the racetrack. Apron bad.
Oh, that's definitely one of those things in turn 3. That's very, very easy to do. And again, these drivers have been in like a tunnel vision of sorts for the last 40 laps. So I don't think Weekly has lost too much. I think he can still get up to the back of these drivers here. So I don't think he's lost much, but
we missed that here. Let's go back and yeah.
The whole entire iconic pack will lose a little bit of speed because of this.
See if we can see him. There he goes. You're right. It gets hypnotic. I mean, you just turn the car. Hey, the car's turning. All right. Oh, wow. Turns real easy. Oh, wait. I'm not supposed to go underneath the white line. And then you grab it, and it really wants to unload the car, and it shoots it right up the racetrack. And whew, a moment. And that's not going to help that group run down the leader any faster. They were pretty well organized at that point. Now that shook up that second group just a little. So that might delay them getting up to Hoffman. 45 to go, 1.2 second lead here at Michigan. So you might be thinking, IndyCars at Michigan on the sim, traditionally we see very close races here. Not so much. Back in the 2016 season when the Classic IndyCar Series came here in Season 2, the closest race they've had here is only the margin of victory was 0.015 of a second, so 15 thousandths. But other than that, Ethan Agan over Josh Baird in Season 7 by 0.3. And then back in season 10 of 2024, Alexander Russell over Cameron Dance by 12 seconds. So the norm here in these cars, with these cars, is not close finishes. So we will see. Do we get a photo finish here? Does Ethan Agan, Moldar, and Weekly, do they run down Jan Hoffman? Or do we see a kind of typical classic IndyCar Series finish here at Michigan where it's decided by more than a second?
I'm trying to figure out exactly what the best strategy is right now for Hoffman. Like, he's just kind of sitting out there all by himself, so he's not... He's running his own strategy right now, right? So whatever happens for him in the last end is going to be how the race finishes here. So I think Hoffman just has to kind of run the best laps he possibly can, knowing the iconic cars are coming back around. And yeah, you see that Caleb Weekly is back in that draft envelope again. And he is running with these guys. So the gap is starting to come down just as expected. They're doing 33.4s. Hoffman's tickling the 33.6s right now. So eventually they will catch him, but we have to see if the iconic cars are going to take tires or not.
And battle back here for 8th. We have 4 cars kind of all together. This is Johnny Garrett in the Vortex entry in the 68 right behind him. And Herbie is Craven Lovegren. He's in 8th position. Giacometti, very quietly, Andreo's worked his way up into the top 10 and 9th. And Pitcairn is in 10th. So this is the bottom portion of the top 10. All 4 position, all on the lead lap. This is 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Good top 10 from some of these guys as well back here. Caven Lovegren, he had his little issues earlier on in the race, but he crawled up from outside the top 20 to be in the top 10 right now, as is Eamon Law. That's a really good effort from those guys. So great race outcomes for these guys, for some drivers particularly that didn't qualify as well as they hopefully would have thought. But these guys right now are hoping for a caution because they have no other way of getting back up towards the front again.
And it's Julian Altena who is riding on the attenuator of our pole sitter, Jared Ray Hutton, who is now caught a lap down. He's the only car 1 lap down. In fact, we got 13 cars still running. Rangers Stoom is the last car running right now on the racetrack in lowest position. He's in 13th. We saw the damage to his rear wing. Julian is parking his front wing right underneath the rear wing of Jared Ray there and trying to push him for all he's worth. Julian would like to see a caution at this point, I think, to bring him a little bit forward. He might also have a damaged car, so it might just be in his best interest to just ride as close as possible to Jared.
It's definitely good to see for the first race of the season that we had a couple cautions early on, maybe a couple of silly ones with cars spinning out on the restart and whatnot, but it's good to see that the series has enough respectable drivers that you can kind of get a grip of how everyone's feeling on the first race of the season, and we're able to get some really, really good green flag pit stops in here. That's all that the series really, really runs on and is really hopeful for is really clean races and everything. So we're happy to see that has happened here. You're right. Julian Altena is now just all over Jared Ray Hutton here, hoping that he can get himself back up to the top 10 again.
In chat, Nicholas Pressy asks, how do I get in on this? Well, if you look in the description, there are all the contact information for the Classic IndyCar Series, their X account, Facebook, YouTube. You can also search up Classic IndyCar Series on iRacing. They'll have more contact information there. Check them out. Follow them. Send them a DM to learn more. Send them an email to learn more, to get involved. And it's a very comfortable schedule. The next race isn't for another 2 weeks. We're going to New Hampshire, a track that these cars actually did run at. In fact, the last time the IndyCar went to New Hampshire was in this car, with the very rare sighting of the Will Power double bird.
I was there, Gary.
That's right.
I told you the story multiple times.
This is an open setup league. It's the only league right now that runs on a regular basis on iRacing. It's the longest continuously running Dallara IR05 league. I don't know if this car is free. I know the DW12 is free with your subscription. I don't know if the IR05 is free anymore. I bought both when they were both legacy at the time for $5 when they were both available. But these both might be free cars. If not, I mean, you're paying $5 at most. And, all that, after that, all you need is just the tracks on the schedule. Here is the schedule. I'll bring that up on the screen one more time for you. Very relaxed schedule. Round 1, and then round 2, 2 weeks at New Hampshire. Round 3, a couple weeks after that at Montreal, first road course race. Then round 4 at Portland for our second road course race. Then we go back to the ovals for round 5. And Homestead for Las Vegas, and Homestead, Miami. Again, courses that these cars have run on traditionally in the past. Then Willow Springs. That's a weird... I don't even think I've bought Willow Springs yet, so I might have to... I don't know if I have it or not, but that might be an interesting one to see. And then Mexico City, which is a new track on the service. And that is the 8-race little mini schedule for Season 12. The transition season, which is going to then allow season lucky number 13, which will be over on Green Flag TV, and I'll be helping Nolan out on that, hopefully. When that picks up in the middle of the year, and it will kind of run a as Robert was telling me, it's he calls season 12. It's a shorter season, transition season to the next season, season 13, but he calls this the Tony George schedule as it spans late summer through winter till next May of 2027. So that's kind of the and you can find the Classic IndyCar Series also if you search them out on Sim Racer Hub. You can kind of see where their next season will start for season 13. 31 to go here at Michigan for the BJ Manufacturing Michigan 400.
After hearing all that, Gary, I guess that means that when we go back to Green Flag TV again, I'm sure all these these viewers and drivers are hoping that I'll be back on the track again and not up here commentating.
Maybe they want you commentating. I don't know.
I'm sure after watching about 6 or 7 of these races, I'm gonna get the itch to get back in the car again. And yeah, I already watching some of my fellow competitors here and saying, man, I kind of wish I was back in the car again. But also part of me is saying, I didn't have any stress to get a setup together or anything like that, and I'm happy to be up here with you and watch these cars from up in the booth. And looks like Jen Hoffman is falling back now. So I think that strategy is starting to
They caught him.
play on him a little bit.
Now, if you're Jan, come the pit road now.
Absolutely. This is one of those things where you can make it to the end from here. Maybe hang with the pack a little bit, but at the same time, you're not going to. It'll be a zero-sum game if you just hang with the pack as long as you possibly can, because there's no one threatening behind. I would probably pit at this point of the race if it were me, and just try and get myself out in front of the pack again, and hope that when I come out of the pits, I'm actually racing with someone who's got some pace that could tow me along a little bit. So yeah, if I was Jan Hoppen, I wouldn't just hang at the back of this pack for any longer. He's got a whole different strategy, and he can really kind of pave his own way from here.
So Jan just going to stick it out right now. He didn't really fight very hard to hold on to that position. They just ran him down. He stayed high, let him go. Didn't really seem to panic, tucks in line. So maybe he was just accepting the inevitable at that point.
That's definitely one of those things that you're racing on your own strategy, and you have to kind of know where you're at. So some drivers don't like getting passed, right? Like, it's, okay, cars are passing me, I'm slow. I want to fight them as hard as I can, but the fact that Hoffman just kind of pulled over like that shows that he has a little bit of a different strategy in mind. So yeah, he fell to the back of this pack right now, but I do think that he's going to find himself racing by himself later on in the race, and I think he's going to come down the pit lane if he's just kind of sitting outside right now and see what his lap times are like and say, hey, I can hang with this pack, or no, I got to do something totally different.
Once again, if you're just joining us, thanks for watching at home. 29 of you right now watching us, almost as over 30 at one point, almost 40. Thanks for joining us here on a Sunday afternoon. No football. We're a couple weeks before the start of the 10 top season. So might as well just join us here and watch some virtual IndyCar racing here on iRacing here on YouTube on P1. Thanks for joining us. This is P1's coverage of round 1 of 8 of season 12, the transition season of the Sim Gaming Expo at Classic IndyCar Series, coming to you from Legacy, Michigan for the BJ Manufacturing Indy 400. We're currently Ethan Hagan, who has won here before, is currently our leader on the racetrack with 25 to go. The next race for us here in the Classic IndyCar Series is Sunday, February 15th. Daytona 500. Who needs it? Join us for round 2, season 12, the transition season of the Classic IndyCar Series, as the team's drivers head to our only short oval of the season, the Magic Mile at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Forget the Daytona 500. You don't want to watch those guys. It's the 4th running of the New Hampshire 200 right here for the Classic IndyCar Series. Coverage starts at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on the 15th. Don't miss it as the season continues in 2 weeks right here on P1. I won't be watching the Daytona 500, that's for sure.
No comment, Gary.
You'll have it on.
I know exactly you were waiting for me to say something.
You'll have it on in the background. I know you will.
I'm not taking the bait. Not at all. I will say, though, going back to this race, nobody wants to win this race more than Matt Molnar right now. I'm watching how his car has been behaving for the last 50 to 60 laps. And Molnar, you could tell he knew that the job was to stay behind Jerry Ray Hutton last stint. He knows the job is to stay behind Ethan right now. There's no reason to fight, but Molnar has had such an up and down race that he says, okay, I'm on this team where my car might be similar to my teammates, and I think that Molnar is focused on that checkered flag right now. Ethan Higgins, yeah. He's just kind of hand-waving Ethan away, saying, you've won this race before. It's my turn now. I'm someone who races part-time in this series. I got the speed. I've got the pace. I've had a lot of bad luck in previous years. I want to go ahead and win this. So I think that Molnar looks like the person who wants to win this race most right now. Caleb Weekly, yes, he's been up there. He's been up front in several of these fast oval races for the last few years. He has a good shot at winning as well. But Ethan is kind of always the person who just kind of walks his way right to these race wins, and I don't think that his teammates really want to see that happen yet again. Jan Hoffman is in a little bit of a different kind of situation right now, just based on how his races went, how he has chosen his strategy. He'll pull out a backdoor win if he possibly can, but out of this top 4, I think that Molnar is the one who wants it the most.
Ethan has never finished worse than third in the last 2 races here. Classic IndyCar Series has come to a Legacy, Michigan. Today's race sponsorship is brought to you by BJ Manufacturing. They provide high-quality machining, welding, and fabrication in Riverside, California. To learn more, check out their link in the description. The transition season is sponsored by Sim Gaming Expo. They are the proud sponsors of the Classic IndyCar Series Season 12.
Pit stops are starting, Gary. Here we go.
There they come.
Ken Hoffman is staying out after all these folks. This is very, very interesting.
We see all those cars dip to the inside. That is the nonverbal communication, and I haven't heard the radios, but that's kind of a nonverbal communication coming down to the inside. Oh, yep, lock him up. Don't do it. Don't do what Scott Dixon did on your last pit stop. But
this is right in Jen Hoffman's hands. He watched all 3 cars come in together, and a lot of extra braking and a lot of extra stuff had to be done there. And I mean, for someone like Hoffman, who clearly filled his tanks a little bit less than those drivers to get out ahead, I find it very interesting that he stayed out.
Coming now. He decided to go a lap later, and it might not be a bad move. He gets down to the pit road speed limit on his limiter. There's a button they could push on the wheel that won't allow the car to go over that pit road speed limit, provided you have it engaged. If you don't have it engaged, you'll get a penalty. And here he comes. He slides in. He hits his marks. Going to go up on the jacks for the final time. We see some other drivers on pit road as well. I believe that was Hutton coming in for his final stop. So Julian Altina is going to stay out and go long with Amon Lal, his teammate. And they will answer the call. Actually, Lal coming to pit road right now.
I think Egan had his best stop of the day because he has pulled away from both Molnar and Weekly. And I think it's going to come down to Hoffman with another fantastic round of pit stops. He comes out way ahead of Ethan Egan. This is incredible, Gary. This is 2 fantastic pit stops from the Vortex Sim Racing driver.
In lap means everything, but out lap just as much. And he is coming out of pit road and hustling that car. And he now has we'll bring you up gaps, because this is going to be eventually your gap back to the lead when Altina, Andrew, and when these 2 drivers come to pit road, Jan Hoffman will be the leader, and it's 1.6 seconds to Egan. So the general rule of thumb for IndyCar is it is about a football field for every second that you do on the racetrack. So Hoffman has generated, just by being more efficient on pit road, a football field and a half, and then a little bit more lead in the closing stages here at Michigan.
I think a lot of this placement has to do with that pit entry. All the iconic cars came in at the same time. So obviously Ethan was going to have the best pit entry because he has no one ahead of him. But Molnar and Weekly both probably had to finagle their braking a little bit and change their angle of approach into the pit lane. And that just accordions its way back, right? So Ethan had the clearest way into the pit lane. He had nothing to worry about. He brakes where he wants to brake. Molnar is probably a little bit nervous of where Ethan's going to brake, so he has to brake a little bit earlier. And then, of course, Weekly, being the last car in, has to do the same thing. Whereas Hoffman goes that extra lap. He's able to pick his spot, pick his braking point, get himself all settled right into the entry zone, and that shows that not only that, but Hoffman had a great box time there.
Andrew Saunders, he comes to pit road, slides through the cones. I was expecting a black flag to pop up on my timing and scoring, and he hit it hot, and he is doing his final stop. Julian Altina completed his final stop. Here comes Ethan Egan down the backstretch. Hoffman down the backstretch is now your new leader, and it's 1.8 seconds, so the lead back to Egan gets bigger. It was 1.6, it's now 1.8, Andrew.
So I was going to mention that this is going to come all down to setup now, especially because Egan has no help from drivers pushing him from behind, right? So the best setup is going to win right now if you're in a single car formation. This is almost like you're doing a qualifying session, just sitting behind the cars that are ahead of you, trying to get the best way possible. So right now, Ethan is hoping that his two teammates behind just do their pushing scenario to get up to Ethan. And in order to get back to that 3-car scenario to track down Hoffman, which is exactly what happened before. But we're running out of time, Gary. We got 11 laps left. These 3 drivers need to get together if they have any shot of catching Hoffman at all. And just based on how the lap times are going, 33.1
there they go, yeah.
33.3 for Egan, 33.4 for Hoffman. So they are faster in the group.
Yeah, Molnar and Weekly just set purple laps on consecutive laps. First for Weekly, then for Molnar. So we're clocking lap times now into the 2:16s as these 2 drivers try to run down Ethan Egan in second, which they will. But right now, you're right. Time is running out. 1.8 up to Jan Hoffman, your leader, with 10 to go.
And if I'm Jan Hoffman right now, I am just sweating bullets. I'm saying I know that those 3 guys are going to get together and they are going to track me down like, I don't know, like a wind gust coming through the whole entire town here. And he's the tall building in the middle of the center, and he wants to make sure his windows don't get blown out. So, yeah, Hoffman, I'm sure he has probably Robert Groscher on the booth or on the stand, kind of talking him down a little bit, giving him the lap times and everything. And then kind of once the 3 of them get together, they'll predict what the lap time grouping is between the 3 of them to get each lap going. So let's say they're 0.2 of a lap faster and they're 1.8 back. That'll be 9 laps to get up to them. And we're getting down to 8 to go now. So last time by was what? 1.8, right? So yeah, they need to be over 2.5 tenths back. But at the same time, Molnar is saying, Ethan, get out of my way. I'm faster. I need to also win this race. So there could be a little bit of a team consternation going on between when Molnar wants to make his move to make this win happen. Otherwise, he's just going to push Ethan to the win.
This is
that was not a good lap. Not a good turn 1 and 2 for. I think Ethan's getting almost like Ethan's getting a little nervous. Molnar is basically pushing him through turn 1 and 2, and Egan got a little squirrely on the yellow line there. So I don't think this is a good lap for the iconic trio here.
Gotta go. This is Jan Hoffman's 98th career Classic IndyCar Series regular season start. He has 3 career wins. I don't know when his last win is. It has been a little bit. I'm going to have to look that up. But he is he has a long dry spell that he's looking to get. He's looking for it to rain. And he wants it to rain here in about 7 laps as he hits the line now, 6 to go. As we are now in the closing stages, 12 miles to complete the 400 here at Michigan for the BJ Manufacturing Michigan 400 as Egan, Molnar, and Weekly try to run them down here in the closing stages, and they have a little bit. They got it down to a 1.5 seconds. I do want to thank the guys at the Sim Gaming Expo, and George Anzaldo, for being the series sponsor of this season of the Classic IndyCar Series. Make sure to join them in Chicagoland at the Schaumburg Convention Center September 18th through 20th. Go to their website. Link is in the description, and tickets go on sale this February. Be a part of it for the second annual Sim Gaming Expo. I don't want to commit them to an annual thing now, but the second Sim Gaming Expo this coming September 2026 in Schaumburg. Be there or miss it. You don't want to miss it.
Searching for Jan Hoffman's last win right now, Gary, as we as we watch this down. You call the race from here.
And again, Molnar just all over the attenuator. You can't bump draft in these things. People, we saw someone try to do it on Tuesday night in our IndyCar coverage, our Indy Oval Series at Talladega. Sometimes we pick up non-regular drivers in the series and they hop in the car because, it's IndyCars at Talladega. How hard can it be? And they tried to bump draft a car to the lead, and that failed miserably for the car actually getting bump drafted, not doing the bump drafting. So you can't necessarily do that. Even if you do line up that nose, right across the nose. Molnar slides across Caleb, but he caught it, and that's going to separate this group, and it's going to stall that run a little bit. But you can line the nose up to that attenuator, but you don't really want to make contact because you'll just lift the back of that car up and loosen it up, and you'll cause a wreck, and then we will go under caution. And next flag is really going to end this thing. No green-white checkers in IndyCar. Jan Hoffman leads by now a second, and it gets shorter and shorter and shorter as they go into 3. Under a second now, coming to 2 to go.
Okay, I discovered that Jan Hoffman won the Charlotte Motor Speedway Oval 2024, so that was 2 seasons ago. So yeah, so it's been about 2 years since we've seen Jan Hoffman take the checkered flag, but if he can keep this going right now, he has managed to outlast and outwit the iconic cars here, who seem to really have a stranglehold on this field. And yeah, the gap is closing ever so slightly, and Egan is just running his car down right against the apron. Molnar has a little bit of a run now, and now he's saying, all right, well, I pushed you long enough. I got to get myself a nice up on top of the podium run here.
Caleb Weekly purple lap on the white flag lap.
Yeah, I think Hoffman just has to bring this home right now. There's no way these iconic cars, and
they're spinning down the backstretch, and that is going to really end it and seal it as the 2 teammates. A little fratricide coming off at 2, but coming off of 4 with a long dry spell. But 2 great pit stops to set up a victory coming off of 4 in the turn from home. It is Jan Hoffman at the 400 at Michigan.
What a great strategy. I am so impressed at Jan Hoffman for outwitting that entire iconic team. They were an unstoppable force, but yeah, such a shame for Matt Molnar there. I think he had the same kind of incident as Hans Pikkinen had early on in the race. Just got very, very, very low on the exit of turn 2 there, and the back end of the car came around, and poor Caleb Weekly just couldn't react in time for it. I think he was trying to push Molnar to get ahead of Egan to give him a little bit of run there, but unfortunately it just ended in both of their races, ended both of their streak of getting themselves a podium. So the only iconic car you're seeing on the podium is Ethan Egan.
And Ethan, for the 3rd straight Michigan race with a Classic IndyCar Series on the podium, he has now won the race, finished 3rd, and finished 2nd. So he has stepped on every step of the podium over the last 3 races here. And here are today's final results. Jan Hoffman with the win. This is going to be his 4th career Classic IndyCar Series win in his 98th start. Ethan Egan, another podium for Ethan here at Michigan. Comes home 2nd. Julian Altina, very quietly, Julian, and we'll talk to him here and see what kind of condition his car was in, but he brought his car home in 3rd after picking up damage very early in the race, right along with his teammate Amon Law in 4th. Caleb Weekly and Johnny Garrett, Caleb Weekly, comes home in 5th. With that spin off of turn 2, Johnny Garrett comes home in 6th. Giacometti in 7th. Matt Molnar in 8th. Took the green flag, took the white flag with a chance, or a slim chance, but he was there, and it just got ruined for him, taken away. A great day for him, coming from a lap down to get back up to the lead. Finishes 8th. Kevin Lovegren in Herbie there comes home in 9th, and his first start here in the series, and Hans Pitkanen in 10th. You got Andrew in 11th. Jared Ray Hutton, our pole sitter, he comes home in 12th. Stum in 13th. Brings home a very damaged car 5 laps down. Long afternoon is now done for him. And then we got Rodriguez, Mustanen, Vogelzang, Pim Van Gastel, VJO, Anderson, Aitken in your top 20 there. And we'll run through the rest of these here because I know Andrew's got a dinner that he needs to get to here very shortly. Barkenau, Simmons, Turner, Strauss, Sullivan, F. Tink, Christensen, and Robert Groscher. I don't think Robert actually was racing. I don't know. Sometimes we see his name at the end of the order, and sometimes he's doing race control. I'm not sure if he was or not, but He's getting credited for 28th. And that is it. All right, we need to get some replays queued up here, and we will jump on into this, talk to our podium. All right. Andrew, you still here?
Yes.
All right. We'll get into the interview right now. And joining us here in the interview room here, coming in third here in the BJ Manufacturing Michigan Indy 400, Julian Altena. Bit of an adventuresome race for you. First of all, were you damaged there for the rest of that race? And if you were, what a drive to bring that car home in third spot. Actually, let's he seems muted right now, so let's try unmuting him. Let's see if we got him again. There yes. He is. We got you unmuted. Hey, Julian, again, repeat my question. What a drive. Were you damaged there by picking up a little bit of contact on that incident on one of the restarts, or were you damaged for the whole race? And if so, I mean, that was a heck of a drive to bring this car home like that in that condition to third spot.
No, luckily I wasn't damaged. As you know, the car is built like a tank, so I got to thank Dallara for that. But no, I mean, like that really got me frustrated because a bunch of people clearly saw that there were cars wrecking on the top, and they kept pinching us up the top. So like there was just nowhere to go, and I couldn't brake because I would have been run over. So I had to balance it as best I could, and I just brushed the damaged car on the top. I'm not sure who it was, but yeah, luckily got away with it. But no, yeah, great result. Best of the rest. You know, we finished right behind the top two teams in this league, other than Camara, who weren't here. So yeah, just really happy with the result. I mean, I got to say the setup we used wasn't ours, but still, nonetheless, to be the best of the rest team, it's a great feeling. And you know, we worked together quite well all race, Aman and I did. And I mean, it's routine for you, Gary. Andrew, not so much, but we've been telling Gary all the time that the team is working together really well lately. So I'm going to keep it short on that front. But yeah, just all credit to Aman and even Rodin, who stuck around. Like, he got taken out, and he stuck around to give us numbers and gap updates and everything. So thanks to him as well.
It's always great to have teammates that stick around and help you out. I'm sure that each of the teams that you were battling there, each had a driver that was out of the race and had an opportunity to help out. But that just shows how much a team matters in this series here. So my question for you, Julian, is, you know, maybe your qualifying didn't go as well as you had hoped, but you showed everyone how to get to the front, right? So you started outside the top 10, you were able to slide your way up into the lead and everything, and just kind of showed that maybe you don't have to stay in that single file formation to make those passes. So how difficult was it to get up front? And after you were the only car from the front group in the first caution to pit, did you feel like you might have had more difficulty without the spinning out and everything like that to get back up front again? And what was your strategy like, just being off strategy a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, the incident earlier didn't really change much. Like I said, I wasn't damaged, so luckily for that, for myself and the man as well, we could keep working on that side of things. But no, racing guys from Iconic and Vortex and even the Camaro guys, when they show up, like it's incredibly difficult to do that because their setups are just so fast and developed. Like, a bunch of their setups, the origins of that are at least 15 years old, 10, 15 years old. So with all the knowledge and everything they have, like, I drive this car for fun. I'm halfway decent at it. I don't want to quite say I'm good, but like to go up against that experience, like even just to lead a lap against, I think it was Logan, it was just incredibly difficult to pull my nose in front. I tried 3 or 4 times, and then the 5th time I was able to do it for just once, and then I had to fall back and kind of preserve my stuff before I maybe could have killed myself on the exit of turn 4. So yeah, like I say, just really happy, but the strategy as a whole wasn't really about staying at the front. I just wanted to chill for the most part, and then at the end, like you say, just drive to the front and try and get a good finish. But no, I don't think the incident earlier really changed anything. If anything, it kind of fired me up a little bit to go to the front. So
last question, and just to follow up, and you can make it a quick answer if you want to, and we'll get the shout outs, is any regrets on, you were when we had that early caution, you decided to come in early, gave up all that track position, and it kind of got you back into that group where the issue occurred. Any regrets on making that stop, or in hindsight, do you think back and go, I shouldn't have given up that track position?
I mean, on the side of things, that yes, I kind of put myself in a bad spot, but at the end of the day, pitting that early in the race with one of the yellows kind of set me up for the rest of the race. Like, it gave me the flexibility that McLaren desires in F1, and I was able to make use of that in the first half of the race. So no, not really any regrets. Of course, it's suboptimal to be put in that position, but
right.
Sometimes you just gotta bite through the sour apple, as they say in Dutch here. I don't know if you have a similar saying, but yeah, you kind of have to walk through the fire to reach the other end, and that's what I did, and it all worked out in the end. So yeah, no regrets.
Yeah, the saying we have is you made your bed, now you have to sleep in it. So
yes, that's what I was looking for.
There you go. Well, congratulations on the P3. Good weekend for you. A win yesterday in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship in the second race of the 2 sprint race doubleheader weekend at Road America, and a P3 here. Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors, anyone I want to say hi to before we let you go.
Yeah, of course. As I said, thanks to the team, especially Aman and Rodin. Liam and John didn't have such great days today, but I'm sure they'll bounce back for the next race. Gotta thank you. It's nice to be back on your channel again. It's been a long time. So hi to all the viewers on P1. Yeah, just thanks to everyone. It was a great race. Also really happy to finally get a podium in this series without punting somebody out of the way on the first turn of the first lap. So. I think that was Ethan Egan, actually, or it was one of the Camaro cars. I punted somebody at Road America many years ago, so it's nice to
Jamie.
do that. Jamie, yeah.
Watching.
Andrew remembers.
No, but seriously, it was a great race. So thanks to everyone, and especially to Robert and all the admins here. It was a lot of fun. So thank you guys.
All right, Julian, P3 here to start off Season 12 of the transition season here at Michigan. We'll see you at the next one. If you do show up, hopefully you do. It's at a track you do reasonably well at in New Hampshire. We'll see you then.
Yep, maybe. We'll see. I'm not sure yet.
That is Julian. Let's move on up to Ethan Egan. We'll bring in Ethan into the room. We will run him through the unmute strategy here, and now he should be good to go. Ethan, you got your ears on, man.
Yes.
There you are. Hey, good race for you. In fact, the last 2 times we came here, you got a win. You finished on the podium, and then you finished on the podium again today. Maybe you could have run him down if you had the help from the other 2 cars for the full last lap. It would have been a bit of a long haul, Hail Mary to kind of reel in Jan there at the end, but you certainly made it very interesting. Talk about the end of the race there and getting this P2.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. On that, heading to the white flag, I hit the apron, and so I went wide and lost all my momentum. So that was pretty much it there. But it was a tough race. I mean, I was off strategy because of that one yellow. I think it was the last yellow, actually. And so I had to pit earlier than usual than everybody else. But just had a fast race car, and it was fun being up front most of the time, but sadly we just came up short.
Yeah, Ethan, it seemed like the iconic cars were really
kind of working together nicely for this race. Was there any discussion of who should lead, who should be behind, who should push, who has the better kind of run? Let's talk about the team dynamics of how you guys did each of those stints, because everybody seemed to really just kind of hang together there. And I'm curious of what the of if there should be any sort of switching around or changing up a little bit of the order amongst the team.
Yeah, we pretty much have no strategy of who leads up front most. It's usually whoever's up front first. We usually just stick behind them, but but of course when we get like into traffic positions where we're trying to make way through the pack, we do the best we can to get up back front, and whoever's leading that pack will lead the pack. But obviously, if our handling goes bad, we'll switch around there and there. But yeah, I mean, it just more comes into like the end of the race where I was leading and it was like 2 seconds back and just ran out of time at the end, and obviously I made that mistake and turned forward and headed into the last lap.
Yeah, well, I think one thing I want to point out real fast. We'll go back to the first pit stop there. That it seemed like all you guys came in together, and you were able to get a little bit of a jump on Logan, who wound up getting collected in that incident. That was just after the pit stop there that everyone got sorted out. So did you find that perhaps if you had a worse pit stop, you could have been in that situation, or how did you get that exact jump on Logan there to get ahead? And kind of avoid that wreck situation.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell on that one. Like, even if I did had a bad pit stop, I probably would have been involved in that wreck. But if it was the other way around, if Logan was in front, he might have avoided that. So it's a 50-50 chance of what was going to go on. But yeah, I mean, it was just a tough deal for Logan to get collected in that. No idea what happened in that crash, but obviously when you have one of your teammates get collected in a wreck or something and they're out of the race, it makes it hard for us to like not really work together, but just have like much more help at the end of the race.
Ethan, any shout outs, friends, family, sponsors, anyone want to say hi to for getting your third straight podium here at Michigan? So you're on a bit of a roll. You might want to see it on the schedule every season now.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Just want to thank my family. They always support me. Anything I do. And also just thank everyone for Iconic Motorsports and Team Watson Racing for just getting phenomenal race setups and just being up front constantly.
Well, that is Ethan Agan, another podium finish here at Michigan, coming home second today to start the season. We'll see you in a couple weeks when we head back to another oval at New Hampshire. And we'll move him out of the channel and bring in Jan Hoffman as he had led 49 of 200 laps. It doesn't seem like he led that many laps there, Andrew. But when he got out front, he he made it a big deal. So we'll get him in here and talk to him about those pit stops. And here is Jan Hoffman. Drink up, my friend. The drought is over. A win here at Michigan, and really it came down to those last two pit stops. And boy, did you make those count. Talk about the strategy on those last two stops, and how much did you work on green flag pit stops, because you nailed them.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
To be honest, I didn't work really on them. I was just feeling like, okay, I think I have to brake now. And yeah, it worked. I felt the pressure, and I knew, okay, I have to nail this pit entrance and then basically do 40 quali laps and then come in and do the same again for 20 more laps. I knew those guys were quick, and working as on your own against three cars that can tandem, had me a bit sweating at the end. I was checking the lap times every chance I had, and Ethan and his teammates were catching up pretty fast, too fast, but at the end, it kind of worked.
Yeah, great job for that. I mean, I've raced in the series with you long enough to know that that these big ovals, doing the split strategy for coming in early and doing two kind of even pit stop situation might lead to a bit of a problem. But we saw that when the iconic cars got you on that second to last run there, that you just basically pulled over like a gentleman and said, "Okay, you guys are faster. Go ahead. I'm not going to try and fight you." And you kind of hung in back there. And was that kind of at that point of the race? Did you feel that was the spot where you might have been like, okay, I can actually hang with these guys, perhaps like predict exactly where I want to stop, where I want to take my fuel and tires and everything, and try and run out from there, especially if you knew that they'd all be pitting together? Or was it all just came together for you in that last pit stop where you kind of nailed it?
No, I mean, yeah, the second to last stint, I looked at the times and was figuring out, okay, is it enough if I stop with like 20 to go? And yeah, once they catched me, I was like, okay, just go ahead. Don't
Yep.
use me as a fuel saver. Burn your tires. I don't want to fight you because I know the only the only chance I had was with the strategy. So I was just letting them go by, pile in, save a little bit of fuel, trying to get that extra split second during the pit stop. And yeah, then I tried to do what I did at the end.
Jan, first win in a while. I think we look back, it's now like 2 years. It was your last win. This is now your fourth career win and your 98 start, your ninth all-time on your own in Classic IndyCar Series, and wins now just one win behind Michele Constantini to tie him for eighth. Great start to the season. That makes you the early points leader in this abbreviated 8-race championship. A great way to start off the season altogether. Not on top of that, it's a 400-mile race, so we get one of our longest races out of the way. Shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors. It's been a while since you got here. Who knows if you ever get back, but if you're going to start the season like this, maybe we will see you back, but get those shout-outs in because it's been a while since you've been here.
Oh, thank you, man. I'm trying to be back next race. But yeah, first of all, many thanks to Johnny, the new addition to Vortex Racing, and yeah, he worked on the setup, so this win also belongs at least 50% to him, because this car was on rails at the end. So big shout out to him. Of course, to the rest of Team Vortex, even if they couldn't race today. Yeah, thank you to Robert for this awesome league, and you guys for the broadcast. It will be fun watching it back, and of course, big shout out to my family who watched this and cheered me on and already congratulated me. So big thank you to them.
All right, Jan, congratulations on the win, and we will see you in a couple of weeks when we head to New Hampshire. There is a schedule one more time on the screen. Great way to start off the season, and a great way to end the dry spell with a win here at Michigan. We'll see you at the next one.
Thank you, guys.
Andrew, I know you got to go. Final thoughts from you. We talk about this. We see these races so often. If you don't know IndyCar racing, oh my gosh, someone's getting past. They got to be having a problem. They're down on pace. And we kind of called it. They caught Hoffman, and Hoffman's like, go right ahead. That's not my strategy. I'm on my own pace. And we talked about this also during the races. It's a long race. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And if you are running your strategy, running your pace, and running to your plan, and if that plan's right, you're going to get the win. And that's exactly what happened for Jan Hoffman today. Very classic IndyCar style strategy win. Not just a classic IndyCar Series win, but just a very classic IndyCar win. Something like this you would see Scott Dixon do, or an Alex Palou do, or in past history like a Michael Andretti or somebody would like that do. Just hanging out, running their strategy, doing what they're supposed to do, and when the checkered flag falls, if you played all your hands correctly, especially on those pit stops, the win often just falls into your lap.
Yeah, I wonder exactly like what Jan was thinking in that time, because when I saw him getting overtaken, I thought that was the end of it. I thought it was, okay, well, these guys are on probably the optimized pit strategy, and Jan's just going to have to kind of make it work. But I think at the same time, with the fact that all three of those guys pit together, that is really what turned the race, in my opinion. The three drivers had to kind of pit at the same time and kind of make it so that they didn't hit each other, so they didn't disrupt each other's entries or anything like that. So I think Hoffman did everything he possibly could for being on his own team island standpoint, and it just happened to work out this race. It's not always going to work out that way. It's always such a risk when you split the two last stints in half, but I think it really worked out for him in this case. So really good, lucky start to the season for him, and I think he can run with it from here.
All right, good. Get on out of here, and I will see you tonight. But that's it from Andrew Wood, who has to go to a dinner, and he'll be back on with me at 8. So you can get on out of here, and I will go ahead and call the outro here. I think he's just out. That's good. Yeah, he's out. I'm all by myself in the booth. It's a lonely feeling. So that's it for today. Once again, you're here at your podium here from Legacy Michigan International Speedway for the BJ Manufacturing Indy 400. Jan Hoffman hit pay dirt today, ending a long drought and getting a win here in the 400-miler, beating Ethan Egan and Juan Altina, bringing back a car that was involved in an incident early on in the race. But he keeps it in play, never giving up, and brings it home in third. Join us again in 2 weeks for round 2 of season 12, the transition season of the Sim Gaming Expo Classic IndyCar Series, as the teams and drivers head back to New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the 4th time in series history. And who knows, maybe we'll catch a sighting of the rare Willpower Double Bird, a native to Loudon, New Hampshire, and the most recently seen in the Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin areas. Let's imagine how that thing has been spreading. Coverage begins around 3 p.m. Eastern time. Again, it's 3:00 p.m. Eastern. Remember, it's an all-new season and an all-new time. So, as always, for the correct broadcast time in your area, find everything right here at YouTube at youtube.com/@P1 Broadcasting. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support P1 with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know your thought on today's race. If you enjoyed today's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out on more of P1's other iRacing programming, including tonight. Check us out at 8 p.m. Eastern time for round 2 of season 9 of the longest running Dallara DW12 series on iRacing. It's the Dark Horse Racing League's DW12 series from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Legacy IndyCar Sunday. You can't beat it. You got the IR05s here in the afternoon, and in the evening, the DW12s. It's all right here on P1. Don't miss it. Today's Indy 400 from Michigan and Legacy Michigan International Speedway is proudly sponsored by BJ Manufacturing. BJ Manufacturing Company provides high-quality machining, welding, and fabrication work in Riverside, California. To learn more, you want to check all their links out in the description. Season 12, the transition season of the Classic IndyCar Series, is brought to you by the Sim Gaming Expo. Get ready for the ultimate simulation gaming experience. The Sim Gaming Expo is bringing all genres of simulation and gaming technology under one roof. Join us September 18th through 20th in Chicagoland at the Schaumburg Convention Center to try out the latest gear from the biggest brands in the industry. Meet your favorite streamers, I'll be there, and celebrate your passion for simulation with the incredible community. Don't miss out. To learn more, to get your tickets now, well, tickets go on sale in February, but go to Sim Gaming Expo to learn more and be a part of simulation gaming history today. Back cams for this race are provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Get the most out of your iRacing experience with Whiplash. To learn more about Whiplash, like them on Facebook. You can follow on X and Instagram. All the links you need are in the description. So, for Andrew Wood, the Catalyst, everyone here at P1, the Sim Gaming Expo, and the Classic IndyCar Series, I'm Gary Gotzo saying all good night. Thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us again right here in 2 weeks in Loudon, New Hampshire for the next race of the Sim Gaming Expo Classic IndyCar Series. Happy Sunday. We'll see you at 8.